So I am back. Yep, we're notifying viewers. Thanks a lot after screwing me over. You know? All right, so anyway, I'm back. First, my audio didn't work. Then, when I went back on to go live, TikTok told me there were too many rooms open at the time. Said try again later. So I tried like 10 times. I'm finally back on. Apologize about these technology issues. I don't know. I'm still learning, I guess. I took a survey yesterday, so I asked everybody what they thought about that tenant kicking over the bucket of rock salt. I didn't realize there's actually a poll thing that I could do on TikTok that one of my employees told me about today, which is really cool. So I'm doing the poll thing. I'm gonna do that the next time. The next time I do a TikTok where I want to ask people questions, I'll just do a poll. So anyway, everyone's on now. Good evening. How are you, Big Dog? Sorry about me going on and not coming on. And look, I don't know what to tell you. So what I was talking about earlier, what I wanted to talk about was the auction I went to this morning, or attended this morning from here, buying that the proprietary name and the phone number and the website. Some people question me, why would you spend that much money on something like that? Well, it's a business that's a reputable business that's been in business for 40 years. They did an unbelievable thing. It really made me wonder, for me being a business owner and owning, 4 businesses, they decided not to sell the business when they retired, these 4 owners. I think it's 4 owners. I don't know them at all. I just happened to do a little research, before the auction. I was impressed. They decided not to sell the business. They could have just listed the business for sale and sold the business. Instead, they had an auction and they piecemealed it. But I got to tell you something. I was shocked when I saw how much their equipment was selling for, the trucks were selling for. Then the second to the last item was the item that I was looking for, was the name. You met my nephew. It was showing the other day. Oh, cool. Oh, great. That's fantastic. All right, good. What were they showing you, Robbie? A house or an apartment? What were they showing you? And I assume it was, your offer didn't do it? Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. So, where was it? What city was it in? Pawtucket? Okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, you could always make another offer. Can you steal garbage and not pay for it? What's amazing about that is this. I will tell you. So it's not only the fact that the driver took the truck without permission and went and emptied these dumpsters. Of course, we don't know if the driver did it anywhere else. We know about this particular one. We are checking the GPS. It's going to take us a couple of days to go through the records, because you have to look at, the breadcrumbs. The GPS is fantastic. It's an AT&T product, actually. I have AT&T for my cell phones, and they offer this GPS tracking service called Fleet Complete. So it's not bad. But anyway, and it's cheap. It's like $15 a truck per month. So we got like I think we're tracking 15 vehicles on there. Because not only do I track the garbage trucks, I also track some of the cars that we use for my realty business. But anyway, the issue is it's not only the driver, but it's also on the other end. You can't tell me that those people did not know that they were had a conspiracy going where they were paying the driver to empty the trash. Now, the reason I say that is because they received stolen goods and services, which again is against the law, and we are going to pursue that. I wasn't going to pursue it, but the jerk on the other end, wanted to double down. He's like, oh, we paid up for our service. We paid for our service. Fine, you didn't pay me, so I don't care. So you want to double down? Because my attitude was, look, buddy, you got away with it this long. I get it. Sign a 3-year contract with us. We're going to charge you what we charge all the other customers. And you know what? No harm, no foul. Nope, he doesn't want to go down that road. He rather, argue. So that's fine. The driver that borrowed the truck might still be a driver, but not for me, unfortunately. But that it is what it is. What are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with that? You know what I'm saying? You know, when they borrow the truck, first of all, it's a $150,000 truck. Okay, number one, it's my insurance. What happens if they get in an accident with my insurance in there, right? They're filling the truck with somebody else's trash, which is weight, because we pay by the ton to empty it. So it's so wrong on many levels. But here's the worst part. Here's the worst part. That particular truck has an uncomfortable seat. So this driver's truck last week was broken. We only had the one with the uncomfortable seat available. That driver would not drive this truck with the uncomfortable seat. Refused. So we actually could not do our pickups one day because she refused to drive the truck. Yet that was the truck that was used to pick up this trash in the middle of the night. That right there was a deal breaker for me. Absolute deal breaker. I don't even want to. It's no discussion. There's no discussion. So the issue was that the company was in Johnston where the dumpsters were. So you know, I am mad about that because when you have a company, so think about this: you start a company. Okay, I took a risk. I started the company. The company's only a year and a half old. Young company. The company itself as a whole does not make a profit yet. Still, it loses a little bit of money each month. It's less and less, and we're going to soon be breaking even, and of course making a profit. The reason why it makes me mad is because think about it. I'm actually taking money from one of my other businesses. I'm investing it in this business to keep the drivers employed, to keep the salespeople employed, to keep the trucks on the road, to pay the landfill, pay the garbage every month, and to have somebody actually stealing from a company that's losing money. That's why I'm genuinely mad. So you know, it's funny when people say, "Well, you know, Jeff, you know, you had the 12 pipes break in that apartment complex. It's a $3 million complex. You had a big mess. You don't seem very upset about that." Well, you know what? That's an act of God. You know, what are you supposed to do? But when you have somebody purposely steal from you, that's a different story. You know, it's a complete different story. When an accident happens, you know, if our driver gets in a legitimate accident, it is what it is. That's part of the business, okay? But to purposely steal, I have a problem with that. So that's the story with that. Robbie's listing was where I met your nephew. Only figured that out. Oh, okay, figured that out. All right, so that was a listing in Pawtucket for the 14 unit. Property, yeah, Harrison. I have that listed for sale in Pawtucket. So the 39 unit is going very, very well. You know, we cleaned up the mess from the water. That's all cleaned up. The heat's all back up and running. That's all good. You know, I got to tell you something. I cannot say enough good things about my staff right now. You know, I have a great staff. You know, Dwayne's a great foreman. He's a great leader. He's a great teacher. The new people that are coming on are really proving themselves really well. It's kind of enlightening for me. You know, being a business owner, it's been a struggle to get through the whole COVID thing as it is with the different businesses, with tenants not being able to pay their rent, okay? The ice cream shops not being able to hire people to work in the ice cream shops because, you know, it's just very difficult to find people, not being able to hire carpenters. So it's been a struggle. At least the whole year 2020 was a struggle, as we all know. 2021, the first half of the year was a struggle. It is a pleasant surprise to see these people that I'm hiring right now come in and really try their best, put in an effort. I didn't expect that. My expectations were low because I figured a lot of people were used to sitting at home not collecting money, collecting unemployment, whatever it may be. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. All right, Make Money, thank you very much. You know, it's interesting, you know, Make Money. I was thinking about it. I should do a separate, like, podcast or something with you on it just to talk sports. I think that would be interesting. But pay off student loans or purchase a rental property. You know, what's the right thing to do and what would I do? You know, I would probably purchase a rental property. You know, I mean, the reason I joke about it is because my wife still to this day has some student loans left, and after 16 years, and of course I could have paid those off a long time ago, but what do? I buy rental property because my mindset has always been, well, I'll make money with the rental property and pay off the student loans someday. That being said, yes, after 16 years, that's what I'm doing. I'm actually doing that now. We're paying them down, getting rid of them. Because I always felt like, let's make the money and then use the money to pay the debt that I want to pay off with. So, of course, So that's what we can do, sports and blackjack. Oh, absolutely. That would be, I'm serious. We should do that. We should do, even where I invite you on a live, we could talk about sports and blackjack. I actually almost had my blackjack mug tonight, but instead I got my Darth Vader mug. But I was gonna, because I have a blackjack mug that I got in Las Vegas. I was gonna use tonight. But yeah, so that's funny. Let's see, what else do we have here? But we could absolutely do sports and blackjack. I would love to do that. That would be fun. Let's plan on that. I mean, we might be the only two on there. Everybody might think it's boring, but but I love blackjack. I love blackjack. I think I've told everybody, sports, I'm not really a big sports guy. Football, yes, but not any other sport. You could ask about any sports. I don't know. And it's interesting because everybody around me is sports. Brian, I would love to have Brian on talking about sports, and Andrew, because they can talk. Brian especially, he can talk about stats of any football player in any football league. He's on like 5 fantasy football leagues. I am so impressed with his knowledge of sports, with Brian's knowledge of sports. It's unbelievable. So that's why I would definitely like to do a live or something with Brian on there and talking about it. And maybe he makes money. You could be on there too, and really we could have a nice conversation. I could just host it, and have everybody talking about the sports and asking questions, and so that's the story with that. Tennessee was the #1 seed. Yeah. Yep. So so getting back to paying the student loans. So yeah. I've always been one that, my priorities may not be correct, but again, I've said this before, what works for me may not work for other people. I've been one to push the envelope, stretch the envelope, whatever you want to call it, stretch the elastic, whatever, where I will make myself cash poor to buy a piece of property, to do something, to invest, and say, okay, well, the money will come later. So I've done that before, but it's worked for me. It has worked for me. One of the things I forgot to tell, somebody was just asking about investing in property. What's the first thing? Any recommendations? The recommendation is the same thing I tell everybody. First, find a property that's in a good location that will be easy to rent. Take away all the roadblocks, the stumbling blocks. If you're looking at property and it's for sale, look at where it is, the price, whether it's a 2-family, 3-family, 4-family, because we're talking investment property here. For me, I wouldn't go less than to start out less than a 3-family. Because, and again, if you're young enough, you want to live in one of the apartments, you buy a house, you live in one apartment, rent out the other 2. I should have done it from day one. I never did that day one. It delayed me. I should have done that, but I was, I wanted my own house. But I've talked about this before. What did I do? I bought my own house, couldn't afford it, had 2 roommates. So it was just like renting out property. I had 2 roommates for 5 years, So, why not just go out and buy rental property? So, had I do it, if I was to do it all over again, that's what I would do. So that's the story. That's but as far as that goes, you find a location. Make sure it's a rentable location, a good location. When I say a good location, it's a location where the bus route, it might be near downtown area somewhere where you have a big market to rent, a big market. In other words, it's like me. If I open up an ice cream shop, I'm not going to open it up in the middle of the woods somewhere because there's no market. I'm going to open it up where there's a big neighborhood, a lot of people. So that's what I'm talking about with the rental property. Same philosophy. The other thing is I try to find 2-unit units and 2-bedroom units and 3-bedroom units. 1-bedroom units are fine, and I have a lot of 1-bedroom units out of my 330 or so units. I probably have 75 1-bedroom units. The problem with 1-bedroom units is typically they have a quicker turnaround. We find, because they're smaller, you're single people meet people, and then of course they get together and they outgrow the apartment. So that's why I like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. They seem to have longevity. The tenants seem to stay there a lot longer. So something like that is something to think about too. 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms are worth more because of that as well. So that's the story with that. Let's see if there's any other questions I missed. Yeah, the tenants, once we get that building ready, they'll be happy to go back into the building, I'm sure. And you're right, getting back to Laurel, most people are ready to get back to work. I think that's, and we are hiring. You know, we are hiring. I mean, I was talking to my bookkeeper yesterday, Heather. We were doing payroll, and she's like, I can't believe how many new names are on the list that we're adding, because the list is so longer. We keep growing, and you know, we haven't really lost anybody. We're adding, and so it's funny because I've been helping out doing the interviews. So I've been hiring electricians, the plumbers. Andrew hires the carpenters. So what happens is, you know, I have to introduce Andrew to them, and I have to learn the names of the maintenance people that he hires. And it's just really kind of funny because we have so many new people. And, you know, I do end up getting mixed up. You know, yesterday I was leaning over the desk at the front desk, and I was talking to Jasmine, and somebody goes, hey, Jeff. And I didn't see who it was. I just heard him say, hey, Mark, how you doing? She goes, that's not Mark. That's the new guy, Nick. So, you know, so yeah, I made that mistake too. Not on purpose, obviously, but it's just that, you know, Nick came by, and he's one of our maintenance guys. So, but you're always hiring, you know. So now, by buying that company name today and their website and their marketing list, I know for a fact our roll-off part of the waste business is going to grow, and it's going to grow quickly. So I'm now going to have to hire more drivers to drive the trucks and deliver the dumpsters. It's not something I expected to do, you know. Last April, when I bought out that other company that went bankrupt, I bought them out more for their equipment. I needed dumpsters, I needed trucks, so I bought that company out really for the equipment. Though I did end up with their phone number, I did end up with their mailing list and their website. I really bought it for the equipment. Now I have more than enough equipment. Now I'm looking to add to our customer base, and that's why I attended that auction this morning. And you know, of course, when you go to an auction, you always want to get the best deal possible. You want to get the best deal possible. You know, the last company I paid $5,000 for the phone number. Today was $15,000, but today I got more. I got the phone number, the website. Well, I got the website from the other one too, but I'm getting the legitimate mailing list, a proprietary mailing list. The reason why I say it's proprietary is nobody else has it except for that company. The other one I bought, the mailing list was already convoluted, it was already distributed, everybody had it. So by the time I got it, the mailing list wasn't worth anything. In this particular case, I'm getting a legitimate mailing list from a reputable company that was in business for 40 years. That's valuable. That's very valuable. And that's why, you know, everyone goes to an auction with different needs and wants from the auction or what they want to purchase. I specifically went there with one thing in mind today, and that was for this mailing list. You know, I probably would have paid a little bit more for it because for me, it's invaluable to have. I have my two office people now, Nicole and Brian, they can you know, market to these people, let them know, hey, we're the new owners, you know, and we can service you. So it's great. It's great. We have a new building we're moving to, so we're growing that business. A business that I started a year and a half ago. I started a year ago in October, really, not even a year ago, really November. So it's not even a year and a half old for us to already be moving into a new building, buying new property. I'm happy about that. Is it making money yet? No. It will be soon. Every month it makes a little bit more money. But that's why that driver should never have stolen from me. That was a big, big mistake, which was really unfortunate. Let's see. What else is there? Any questions anyone has? Because I want to... I know I didn't plan the live. I didn't advertise live. I didn't promote the live. I just sat here and said, you know, let me go live. So, you know, that's the story, you know, with that. Let's see. I'm just going to, you know what I'll do too is I can go on and talk about other questions too. Do you need a detective? You know, it's interesting to say that. Do you need a CDL driver? Absolutely, I need a CDL driver. We have right now, as I speak, we have 2 openings for full-time CDL drivers, so we absolutely need 2 CDL drivers. You know, right now, can always use a CDL driver, a good CDL driver. You know, I have a great mechanic. When I bought that business out, well, when the business went bankrupt last April, when I bought the company at the auction, I ended up hiring their full-time mechanic, who was fantastic. He was with that company for 16 years. I hired him, came aboard, you know, because not only is he a mechanic, he knows the business, he knows the trucks, but he knows the drivers. He knows what to look for in a driver. He knows, and so he's been an asset, really big an asset. And then what happened was we just needed another office person. He actually knew somebody who used to work for the other company, who we brought in, Nicole, who's working in the office, working with Brian, making a great team. And again, that business is growing. What's happening is because everything's growing, yeah, I'll tell you about the rock salt story things. You're right. A brand new garbage truck is $360,000, brand new. So I've talked about this before. You know, I hired a consultant when I started my business who was in the business for 20 years, and he said, Jeff, he said, the problem with the brand new trucks, here's a problem, is they're brand new. You have $360,000. Think about what my car payment on that would be every month, right? But they're all computerized, all high tech. Something goes down in that, it's tied up for 2-3 weeks for them to fix the computer. You have to be out every day picking up trash. So whether it's a brand new truck or a used truck, they're going to break down. The used trucks are usually quicker to repair than the new truck because of the computer things. You can only go to certain people to fix a giant truck with a computer in it. So we made the choice of buying used equipment. I made the choice. Now the other reason I did that is because I was able to pay cash for everything, so I have no debt. You know, that's another issue to think about. You know, there was a company that started, coincidentally enough, the same time we started. Their philosophy was a little different, which I'm not saying what's right and wrong. But what they did was they had an investor who put up, I think, $5 million, who bought all brand new equipment, new dumpsters, new trucks, put up $5 million. I didn't. I put up, when I started, it was about $500,000. So I put up a small amount of money that I had sold a couple houses and took the money and put it into the business. So I have no debt, zero debt. So they have a $5 million loan, I have zero. And I'm still not making money. So that just shows you where, you know, and they started around the same time. Now, they have, I think, a few more roots than us because they actually partnered with another company who went out of business and they took on their customers. So they have a few more customers than we do. But again, I think I'd rather be in my position. So yeah, a new truck is $360,000. You know, I bought truck, like I said, $150,000 for a truck. So I bought them used. So anyways, that's the story with that. So getting back to the rock salt. So I think everyone here probably saw the lady kick over the rock salt bucket. My personal opinion, it was on purpose. I know a lot of people thought it was by accident. Now, maybe she was kicking with a foot by accident. Fine. When it was tipped over, she went back in the house. She didn't go out there and scoop it up and shovel it. The shovel's there, scoop and put it back in the bucket. She went back in the house. So obviously, in fact, I'll tell you, the tenant that took that video is on TikTok because she comes up on my page, For You page. So I see the tenant that's up on the second floor took the video, and I appreciate her sending the video. So this happened like a few days ago, and she sent it to the office, and Andrew dealt with it, and Andrew contacted the downstairs and said, hey, you're paying us $150. We have to send a guy drive over there from our office, pick it all up, put it back in the bucket, go get new rock salt, because once it tips over in the wet, so you can't reuse it. So now her boyfriend calls up and starts arguing. By the way, he's not on a lease, so we don't know. Andrew did not even have to talk to the boyfriend, but he gave the courtesy of trying to have an adult conversation with the boyfriend. That went out the door in about 2 seconds. So they had a big argument over it. But here's the story. With that, they owe us $150. Whether it was on purpose or by accident, it was ignorant to just leave it there, tipped over on the stairs, okay? When, again, we're trying to do the right thing. We're providing them with rock salt. So that way in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes the stairs are iced over. I don't have 66 staff, one at each property, to pour rock salt. So the tenants can't help themselves. We keep a cup there and they just pour the rock salt down. So that's the story with that. If you have a fleet, you need your own mechanic because maintenance can be, you're not kidding. So Mike, our mechanic, is literally working every day fixing a truck. Yesterday's a good example. We get a phone call. We're in downtown Providence. The truck just died in the middle of the street. So it's not like you can push these out of the way. So Mike has to rush down there. He rushed down there, tried getting it going. One of my other guys, Mike, who's, one of my special projects guy, Mike, he went down there, helped him get it going. The police show up. Now you get the pressure on you. The police are like, if you can't get it going, we're calling a tow truck. We're calling a tow truck at $1,000. We're calling a tow truck. Get it going, get it going. So they got the maintenance guys trying to get the truck going and get it off the road, even out of the way in the parking lot. And they got the police doing their job saying, hey, you got to get it out of here. You're blocking traffic. They're all right. Everything's right. So we're trying to beat the clock. Well, luckily enough, we did get it started. We were able to get it off the road. But that's the stress of, of having the trucks, but it's good that we have a mechanic that can go around, fix it. Then you have another truck, so we go to the dump, the landfill, and the big bar lifts up to dump the big the roll-off container. You know, the big construction containers, the way they work is it lifts up, you open up the door, and all the garbage comes out. Well, sure enough, you lift it up, let all the garbage go out. Guess what? Hydraulic hose breaks. Can't go back down. We're at the dump, blocking where they dump it, and so hydraulic. Of course, it's cold out. The hydraulic line broke. Very quick fix, but we have to get somebody up there to change it out, to get it fixed, to get the thing down. So those are all things that the mechanic goes from one problem to the next, to the next. These air brake, and by the way, I knew nothing about this till a year ago. Nothing, okay? Knew nothing about this whatsoever till a year ago. I'm learning because I see the charges on my credit cards every day. And I ask, hey, what was this for? Because I like to know the business. I like to know, what's going on. So, of course, then the air brakes use these air canisters that, like I guess high pressure air or whatever. And I guess they go bad. Every week we're buying an air canister. So again, it's all stuff that I'm learning. It's like when I got in the construction business, I learned hot water heaters, I learned gas heaters, boilers, furnaces. These are all things I had to learn when I started buying rental properties. What breaks? How do you fix it? Now it's the same thing with the trash business. So that, that's the story with that. Let's see, what do I have here? Was that her apartment door or a communal door? That was a communal door. So if you noticed in the video, the video was taken from like outside on the front of the building, and that was the 4 apartments go down the stairs through that one door out into the staircase in the front of the building. So that was a communal door. Have you closed on the compound in Johnson? No, not yet. We're waiting. It's a matter of days now for just the paperwork to come through. Once the bank cleared the paperwork, now you have to, your lawyers go through the title work, clear the title, make sure the title is clear. But that's any day now, and believe me, you guys will be the first to know. Let me tell you how quick you're going to know about that one, okay? The minute I get the email or the phone call from my lawyer, I'm going to go right on TikTok and put, guess what? Closing on the property in Johnston. And I'm going to do many lives every time I go there. You're going to know about that one. That's going to be a good one. And you know what? I've never asked for likes and follows, as you know. And even with that one, I'm not going to ask for likes and follows, but I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of likes and follows because I'm going to enjoy that. I've said it over and over again. That one there, I'm going to enjoy. I don't get a lot of joy, I guess, out of dealing with bad tenants, but in that particular case, I will. Let's see. Don't forget tires, especially. Oh my God! No kidding. Tires. We go through tires. Listen, that's a company. When I'm investing in, is a tire company. It's unbelievable the amount of tires that we go through. But I got to tell you. So here's what's interesting. So when I bought the company that went bankrupt last April, I got all their trucks. I got, I think, 6 or 8. I got 8 trucks from them. Well, because they were going out of business, they didn't have the money to maintain the trucks. So when I got the trucks, a lot of them were in disrepair. They needed little things, just a lot of little things. And Mike, one at a time, got them back up to 100%. And I got to tell you, our breakage is minimal now, and it's all normal wear and tear breakage. But at the beginning, forget it. I mean, they were all in rough shape, You missed the start of the conversation. Oh, that's too bad for you. No, what shouldn't be replacing your things regularly? Oh, well, so that's interesting. Okay, so I don't know if it's because we have a number of trucks, but it just seems like we're going through air tanks. Why do you say that? I'm curious to say why you say that, because I'd like to know. I just know that we seem to be replacing these air tanks, once every few weeks. A different truck has a different air tank go bad. So let me answer that. If you could tell me, NZ Dirt, I'd like to know why I shouldn't be replacing them. Again, I don't know. I go by what other people tell me. I'm learning. So that would be really cool. If you dispute something in your credit report and it was removed, can another company still buy it? So that's very interesting. If you dispute something in your credit report and it was removed and a company buys it, you can go to your credit report and say, look, that was already disputed and removed, and it should come off no matter what. But I will tell you, years ago when I had stuff on my credit card, bad stuff, I used to dispute it, obviously. People sell the debt. So one debt collector will sell it to somebody else. So it goes through a chain. So before you know it, you don't even know. I got somebody now. So I had a Verizon wireless account in 1997. 1997. Far past the statute of limitations. Now, it's not on my credit report. nor has it ever been on my credit report. But for some reason, every once in a while, I'll get a phone call from some bill collector. Yeah, you owe Verizon Wireless $69. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, and I hang up the phone. So that one there's been passing. That's been passed along 15 times since 1997. But yeah, you can contact the credit report and say, look, show them where you already disputed it. It was already removed, and no, they cannot put the same debt on there twice. Once it's removed, it needs to be removed. You can contact them again and dispute it again, and just tell them it shouldn't be on there. Show them where you already disputed it. Send them the copy of the paperwork and where you and where you won that. Who lives comfortable? He lives comfortable. Make money. Who lives comfortable? Oh, why don't you have a mansion? That's a good question. And people ask me that. So if you Google, okay, The Millionaire Next Door. It's a book that was out years ago. And it's just about a guy who just was an investor. So I won't say my house is a mansion. It's 4,200 square feet, which is big. It was 3,000 square feet, and we added addition on, so it's 4,200. That's plenty big enough for 4 people. I don't need a mansion. The house is big enough. We have enough room. I have my office here, which is my home office. I have my studio. We have our sunroom. We've made the house our own. So the reason why I don't have a mansion is the bottom line is, and I've talked about this. We bought this house in 2004, and it's on a great lot. It's in a great city. It's in a great location. And I always said to my wife, look, anything we want to do at our house to make it our own, let's do that. So, for instance, we have a heated garage. In the winter, when I get done plowing, I pull my garage, I get heat in my garage. I can go on the garage right now. I can work on cars, a 4-car garage. To me, that's nice. I've made the house my own. We've made it our own. We don't need a mansion. At the same time, too, the money that I would use to buy a mansion, okay, to be on, and plus we wanted to be in the neighborhood. So one of the things that was very important to us was for our kids to be in a neighborhood, go to a normal school, have friends, grow up with their friends, and be, typically you're in a mansion, you're in a gated community, it's a whole different lifestyle, whole different thing. So for me, I don't know if, no matter how much money I had, if I would move into a mansion. I just don't, that's not me. I'm very comfortable. So that's why. I mean, that's why. Bigger place to take care of, more expensive place to take care of. I'd rather take the money and invest it back into my properties. Obviously, though, people who live in mansions is pretty impressive as well. But you know what? What do they have in a mansion? They might have an in-ground pool. I have an in-ground pool. They might have a hot tub. I have a hot tub. They might have a sauna. I have a sauna. So I have everything that I would have. Anyway, we made the house our own. But yes, Elon Musk, I was just going to say that. Look at Elon Musk. There's a good example. He sold all his mansions and he lives in a small house now. And that's all he needs. And you know what it is, too? I think after running all these businesses during the day, I'm dealing with audiovisual, I'm dealing with all my properties. At home, I don't want to come home to a big piece of property that I got to maintain. The heating system broke, that broke, this broke. I want to come home and be comfortable. And this is a very, very comfortable house. That's why we like it. That's why we love it. And we've talked about that. But why would we move? Because it has everything we need. Everything we need. But that was a good question. And it's funny because people, that's a bigger income, bigger bills. And that's why people have asked me very often, how come we don't move into a big house? Listen, I've actually flipped houses that are bigger and I guess would be considered nicer than mine. I'm happy with my house. It has everything that we need. We've upgraded everything in it since we've owned it, and I'm happy with it. Plus, moving sucks. Moving sucks. So, the basement's full of stuff because, full of, 18 years stuff that we've been here 18 years. So that's why, well, yeah, Musk is genius and he's weird. I guess some people might consider me weird too. But like I said, it's not the first. Here's the other thing. I've had the question at least once a week. Somebody asks me, Jeff, how come you don't dress for success? You dress like a slob. Well, first of all, I don't dress like a slob. I do buy Under Armour. Everything I have is Under Armour. I dress casual and comfortable. I encourage my office people to dress casual and comfortable. My staff, casual and comfortable. When I go to a meeting, court, professional something, obviously I dress appropriately, suit, tie, whatever it may be. But again, I want to be down to earth. I want my staff to be on earth, but comfortable. Get the job done comfortably. So that's why when they said to me, "Do you dress? You don't dress for success?" Well, first of all, I'm not out there to impress anybody. Okay, dress for success. So that's one of the reasons why I don't do that. I just, I do my own thing. Is Tesla my best car? I have to say no. Well. So before my Tesla, I drove a GMC Yukon Denali. It was the very first brand new car I ever had. I bought it in, well, let's see, what are we now? We're in 2022. I bought it, 2017. I bought that car in 2017, a Yukon Denali, the big black, GMC Yukon. That was the best car I ever had. It was big, comfortable, luxurious. It's the mansion of cars, okay? I loved the Yukon Denali. But the Tesla came out, the Tesla X, and I always wanted to have an electric car, no gas, no gas bill, and so I got the Tesla. I love the Tesla, don't get me wrong, but if the Yukon Denali came back in electric, I would go back and get the electric Yukon Denali for the large, luxurious comfortableness of the car. So that's just the facts. The facts are that I love the Tesla. It's a great car. And I love driving it. We love driving it. I love taking it everywhere. But that being said, the Yukon was just so comfortable, so big, so luxurious. So if they ever came out with an electric one, someday, they will, then I may switch back to that. Of course, my license plate wouldn't work there because my license plate is Tesla. So that wouldn't work on the Yukon. But anyway, so that's the story with that, So the people that, from a poor man perspective, I've talked about 10 years. So I'm 57. At 40, just to put everything into perspective, at 47 years old, my house that was in right here was in foreclosure, up for auction. That was when the banking crisis took place, and my audiovisual business took a huge hit. I had no income. With no income, I couldn't pay my mortgages, couldn't pay my bills, and fell way behind. And I was negotiating with the banks. I was, paying all the banks. I had to make forbearance agreements with the banks, with the mortgage companies, and the only one that would not work with me was my bank for my home, my personal home. My other properties, they all worked with me, but for some reason the mortgage company for my house would not work with me. At that time, we were lucky because when everybody was in foreclosure, the judges, the court system, they were really sympathetic to homeowners at the time that had problems like me, and so they were able to hold off my mortgage company until I was able to get back on my feet. And my lawyer basically stopped the auction 3 times until I get back on my feet. And I then, paid back what I owed the mortgage company. And of course, since then, everything's turned around. The business came back. I started buying more real estate, and everything turned around. But I was 10 years ago, all right, 2012. 2012 was when I really started coming back. It was really 2010 when I had the problems, 2010, 11. 2012 started coming back. 2015 is where I really had the cash flow again to start buying the flip houses and then snowball from there. So again, I know when you say talk about a poor man's perspective, I started out with nothing. People that follow me, that grew up with me in Warwick, know my story. I lived in a 3-bedroom house till I was 18 years old, and my parents moved to another house. Both my parents worked full-time, and so it wasn't like I grew up with anything. I earned it, and that's why I like sharing my information with people, because I earned it, and I hit some roadblocks along the way, and if I can help people avoid those roadblocks, I'd like to do it. This is not one of those programs on TV or the late night program or the infomercial. Hey, buy my system. I'll say it. Mine is, hey, here's what worked for me. If you want to try my ideas, use it. If it works for you, great, because I want to help people not deal with the issues I've dealt with, No, I won't use that mortgage company ever again. The problem is when you buy, it's funny you say that though, because here's what happens, when you get a mortgage for a house, you're with one company, they sell the mortgage. Before you know it, you're with the old company that you're with before. But yeah, that's what happens there. But, it's interesting because, I don't mind people asking me, what happened or, where it goes. I mean, the facts are the facts, but now, I mean, and back then to rebuild, I did take a lot of risks because I guess you have the mentality, hey, I have anything to lose. I got nothing to lose. I'll take a shot. If it works, it works. So that's why I think I started getting more, taking more risks. Today, I spent $15,000 on a phone number and a website and a mailing list. I may not get a phone call. I may not get, but I'm thinking it's a calculated risk. It was a company that's been in business 40 years, highly reputable, great reputation, and they had a lot of trucks and a lot of people on the road servicing a lot of customers. So that's why I'm thinking, it might have been a good risk. It might have been a good risk. So, that's why what is my exit plan? My dad is 90 and still has 8 units. I try to help him, but 30, that's a 30. That's a great question. That's a great question. All right, so somebody's asking me, and I'm going to answer that question. No toys like a Ferrari, but yes, I do have a couple of toys. I'll talk about my toys in a minute. Remind me to talk about my toys. The exit strategy has always been a little stressful for me. So prior to 4 years ago, my exit strategy was to buy the property. When I'm 63, 64, start selling off the property. That will be my retirement. That was my original exit strategy. Might be still some of my exit strategy. The only thing that changed was that my nephew Brian started working for me. My nephew Andrew started working for me. They're both in their mid-30s. They're excellent. They're hard workers. Andrew's running the real estate business. Brian's running the waste business. I have another gentleman, Mark, who's in his mid-30s, running the audiovisual business. So I got extremely lucky that I have these 3 guys, they're in their mid-30s, who obviously are starting out their career that are looking for long-term employment, long-term income. So now, as I get older, they're growing up, they can keep managing these businesses, and obviously, they can make more money, and I can take less of an income and pay them more. And I could be in my 80s and 90s and still have these businesses bringing in money, and eventually just hand the businesses down to my kids. So that's one exit strategy. The other exit strategy is sell off some of the stuff, not keep it all, but sell off some of the stuff when I'm in my 60s. And I'll tell you why. Judge Judy, who I love Judge Judy, by the way, she's my favorite TV personality. She was being interviewed by the late Norm Macdonald when Norm Macdonald did his talk show on Netflix. It was called Norm Macdonald Has a Talk Show last year. And he interviewed Judge Judy. And he said to her, you're worth millions and millions and millions. You're leaving it to your kids. She goes, no, I'm sharing it with them now. I want to see them enjoy it. So I thought that was impressive. She goes, why do I want them to have it when I'm gone? I want them to have it now. And so that's what she does. I was reading an article. Yeah, the money she makes now, she shares with her kids, and she lets them all have it now. And that's kind of what I'd like to see happen too. So that's why in my 60s, I might want to sell it off and start sharing some of the kids of the money and have. The problem is my kids are still young, like 15 and 12. I want them to go to college, have their own career, start their own career before they even see or know what they're going to end up with, because they don't. Again, you see, I keep everything modest. So a little different. I guess it's almost like what Bill Gates did, of course, on a much bigger scale. You understand that with their kids, they only gave them a limited amount of money. They donated all their money to charity because, again, they figured let their kids have a small amount of money and do their own thing with it. Be creative, start their own businesses, whatever, invest it, whatever. And Warren Buffett, and the same thing where, those particular individuals earned a lot of money, made a lot of money, but again, they didn't want the kids to be spoiled. They didn't want the kids to go down the wrong path, and that's why they limited their kids to what they had, what they knew. Same philosophy. I know there's a lot of other people out there that share, hey, you know what? I worked hard for what I have. I earned a lot of money. I don't want my kids to have it tough, so I'm just going to give them. There's those kids out there too, and we see the results of that, and that's what I'm afraid of. So that's why my exit strategy has changed a little bit, where in my 60s, I might sell off some of the properties and have a little bit of money to share with the family because, again, I keep reinvesting, so my money's tied up. My cash everything's tied up. So I'd much rather start selling, free up some of that money and enjoy it. So that's where I'm looking at my different exit strategy. Regarding my toys, so I always have, all right, so I do, all right, so my favorite car, because people ask me, my favorite car is a Mini Cooper convertible. Okay, now why? I had bought a used one back in 2012 when I had no money. I bought a used Mini Cooper convertible. It was great. My kids were little at the time, so they fit in the back seat. It does have a back seat. So we would put the 2 kids' car seats in the back, and my wife and I would sit in the front, put the top down. Mini Cooper. I bought it on Craigslist, $4,000. Best car I ever had. That's the best car. Best value, safest car, smaller car. Mini Cooper convertible. I loved it. So what happened was, when I needed the money, I sold it because I needed the money. So I sold it, and I drove around in a little broken down Kia Sedona minivan, which everybody laughed at me. But that's what I had to drive around in at the time because I had no money. So then in 2015, I started making money again. I said, I want to get another Mini Cooper convertible. I loved it. It was great. The kids loved it. In the summer, it was my only toy. Well, one of my only toys. I'll talk about my other toy in a minute. So I bought another one, used one, in 2016. The problem is the kids started getting bigger, and they couldn't fit in the back seat. We'd have to put the seats forward in the front, and then, of course, Chris and I were uncomfortable in the front, but the kids had room in the back. So we outgrew that car. I would love to have another one today. It's my favorite car. Now, hence, brings me to my toys. So I outgrew the car, and we started looking for a convertible, because now we're spoiled. I wanted to have a convertible. What convertible is out there that I could have a big back seat for my kids? Well, the only one that I could find that would have a big back seat for my kids is an Audi A5 convertible. And so that's why I bought an Audi Quattro A5 convertible that I bought in 2019. In the winter, it's in storage. I drive it in the summer. It's my summer car. It's convertible. It's beautiful. It's great. It's 3 years old. It only has 6,000 miles on it because I only drive it in the summer. But boy, that's a beautiful car. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful car. So yes, that's a toy that I have. I admit that I have the Audi toy. The other toy I have is a jet ski. And the jet ski, I bought this jet ski on eBay. I paid $3,500 for it. It's a very specific jet ski. If you guys Google it, okay, they don't make it anymore. They stopped making it in 2003. So it's 18 years old, okay? And it's a LRV. It's called the Sea-Doo LRV. LRV. What it is a 5-seater jet ski. They don't make 5-seater jet skis anymore. They only make 4-seater jet skis, okay? So it's called the LRV. And the book value is only $3,500, but to me it's priceless because they don't make it anymore. But it's more like a boat. It's like a boat hull. If you look it up, it looks like a jet ski, but it's a boat hull. And I do have that. Paid $3,500 for it. Bought it from California. Had it shipped here from California. I've had that for 7 years because when I grew up, I had jet skis. I lived on the lake, so I used to buy jet skis when I was a kid, 18, 19. You know, those were my toys. So I still have the LRV jet ski. And I love it. I paid $3,500 for it. It's used. It's in great shape, and so that's my story on that. So those are my toys. The jet ski is my toy in the summer, and my Audi is my toy. And I love my Audi. I really do like the Audi. And the Audi, so what's interesting about that Audi is, because I don't do a lot of miles on it every year, I'll keep that Audi forever. I don't see me ever getting rid of that because I only put 2,500 miles a year on it in the summer when I'm driving around. You drive around at night. So I like to use it at night, put the top down, use it at night when I'm going to the casino, you know, to play my blackjack. I'll put the top down and I drive it. You know what I'm saying? So that's, one of my toys, The jet ski my parents lived on a lake until they sold their house this past summer, so I used to keep my jet ski right at their lake. Now that they sold their house, I don't really have a place to keep it or all the time. I keep it on the trailer, so if we're going to put it in, I'll just trailer it somewhere. We'll put it in, I'll take it for a ride with the kids. Let's see. Success is not owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. Well, that's true. The rent is due every day. For me, obviously, I own rental properties. But when I owned a nightclub, I was a tenant. We paid rent for the nightclub for 17 years. So we were a tenant. We paid rent. So we know what it's like. I know what it's like to be a tenant as well as being a property owner. Let's see. Any other questions? I guess not. Let's see. So regarding the the Tesla too, there's something to be said about that. Being an electric car, you get benefits, you get tax breaks, tax benefits. So when I bought it, I did buy it in the business name, so it's a business expense, business vehicle, and so that's the other thing too. I get the tax break, I write it off, my accountant writes it off. So that's the other thing too. It is a business expense. The Audi is a personal vehicle. So the Tesla's a business vehicle, the Audi's a personal vehicle. So, that's, the story there. You know, so, do we live comfortable? Yeah. So that's the thing, do we live comfortable? Yeah, we're comfortable. I'm not excessive. I use coupons for everywhere, gift cards. Today we went out to lunch. We had gift cards that we got for Christmas. That's what we used for lunch. We got Texas Road gift cards. So I use coupons. I'm a big coupon guy. Everybody knows I'm coupons. Home Depot, before I go spend a dime there, I find coupons. Lowe's, I find coupons. It adds up. It adds up. So I look, I look for coupons. I look for saving money. It's interesting, the people that I know that may not have the same income that I have, they don't care what they spend on things. Me, I care. I look for coupons. I wish the electric company had coupons, but they don't. You got to pay them what you pay them, Let's see. I did win the auction today. It was $15,000. I see somebody asked me that. I won the auction today, $15,000, and I got a phone number. I got 2 phone numbers. I got the website. I got the name of the company. The name of the company is called Rollaway Disposal. Great name. Been in business since 1983. Great company. So now what I'm going to do is this. I am going to use their name. It's a great name. It's a reputable name. So where I have Butler Waste, I will be Butler Waste and Rollaway. I will use both names. Why not? It's foolish for me not to. Hopefully I can live up to the same reputation. I expect my staff to, because these people built a business, built a successful business, and like I said, I'm pretty impressed. Hopefully maybe someday I can have a cup of coffee with these owners that ran this business for that long, since 1983, to find out, they worked hard building this business, and why they decided to sell it like they did today, piecemeal and an auction, rather than just putting it on the market. I think I know the answer to that. I find that most people in the trash business are cheapskates, or they try to steal everything, pennies on the dollar, that type of thing. I know when you go to an auction, you always want to do that. But realistically, businesses are worth money. Business is worth value. And I don't think they would have gotten the actual value if they sold it as a ongoing business. I think they actually got more money by piecemealing it. I watched the auction today all day, and I was pretty impressive. Very impressed, actually. The auction company did a great job. I had never done business with them before. I had never went to one of their auctions before. I was very impressed with them. In fact, I'll tell you how impressed I am with them. Last year, when we bought out the other waste business, I ended up with 500 extra dumpsters that I will never use, rear load container I will never use. So I'm going to contact this auction company and say, look, let's set up an auction, sell off all my 500 dumpsters, because I'm not going to need them. And I actually have a couple trucks, too, that we're just not going to use. So that's how impressed I was with that company today. So that's the story with that. The garbage business is a tough business. I've talked about it before. It's not really glamorous. Well, it's not glamorous at all. Not really. Just not glamorous. Obviously the ice cream business is a lot different. Now that's the other thing I didn't talk about. You need a mug to do. Yeah. So a mug TikTok video. That's pretty good. Yeah. That's a good idea. I touched base about this about a month ago, but I am opening up another ice cream shop this summer. In fact, we started working on it last week. Tim in the office is working on the paperwork. I am opening up an ice cream shop. It's going to be a Hershey's ice cream franchise in Warwick, in one of my buildings. In fact, I did a video the other day. My audiovisual staff is moving back into our old audiovisual office space because we've outgrown the building that we're in now. My parking lot's full. There's so many people. So the audiovisual staff's moving back into that building. In that building was an ice cream shop that I built in 2002, and I sold the ice cream business to somebody else. They closed last year, this past summer, and they're moving to Attleboro. So the space is available. Well, I'm not going to leave it empty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up an ice cream shop, and I'm going to do a Hershey's franchise in there. It's an experiment. Again, another risk. I'm going to try an experiment, so we're going to put a Hershey's ice cream shop in that building. So we're starting to work on that now. We started last week, filling out the paperwork, the applications, and because my goal is to have that open in April. So that's the story with that. So just to kind of, so I will be talking about that new ice cream shop. That'll be as we get it open and talk about that. Being a Hershey's franchise will be a very, very new, unique thing to me because it's a different name than any other ice cream stores. But we'll see what happens. You know, let's see. Yeah, so if I'm starting a second company, I'm going to want to get extra trucks. So yeah, so it's supply and demand. So here's what happened with that. When I bought the other company out in April, I got extra trucks that have been sitting, just not being used because I don't have enough business for them. Now with this new phone number and with this new name and everything, the advertising website, now all of a sudden I make it busy and those trucks will be on the road, supply and demand. So yeah, it's actually going to be better for me, at least because I'm paying insurance on trucks that are sitting there, and the insurance is not cheap. So free ice cream for TikTok fans will make money. I want you to come have free ice cream with me anyway. So that way we do our sports thing. We can eat ice cream. I mean, it'll be a big party. We could do a once a week podcast. It'll be just a big party. So do I agree with Let's Grow Brandon? Yeah, I mean, everything's a mess. As you know on my TikToks, I don't get political. I really try not to be political. Because with me in the past, I have voted Republican, I voted Democrat, I voted Independent. I usually vote for the person who I like. Have I made a mistake in voting for a person I like that didn't turn out to be that great? Absolutely. I'm sure we all probably can say that. But I've always voted for the person who I think is going to do the best job. I've never voted party lines. I'm registered as an independent or unaffiliated, I guess they call it, and I vote for the person. I've talked about this before. The people that are split down the middle, it kind of aggravates me. I really am. What admires me are the people that cross the aisle, both sides, go back and forth, and just look. What's in the best interest of the country? Not me, not my party, the country. Because I'm the same way with my business. Every decision I make is what's in the best interest of the business. Not me, the business. And that's why when I look at, we call them politicians or people in the public service, what's in the best interest of the country, the state, the city, they're the ones who impress me. And that's who I vote for, 9/11 was a bad national tragedy. There's been a lot of bad national tragedies. 9/11 was really, really bad. It was I talk about this before, not that it matters, but 9/11, I remember 9/11 vividly. Does everybody remember where they were on 9/11? So I will tell you where I was. I had my friend Nancy and I, well, actually Nancy worked for me at the time. We decided that we were going to take motorcycle lessons and get a motorcycle license, maybe buy motorcycles. So we did. We took the lessons at the local community college of Rhode Island in the parking lot. So it was like you had to go there once a week for like 4 weeks in a row. The very last one, the day we took the test, was 9 o'clock in the morning on 9/11. Well, we know that the planes hit the Twin Towers take around 10. So Nancy and I went to CCRI. We took our last road test, got our license, got our permits, went back to my office, walked in, and what's on the news. So where everybody remembers where they were at 9/11, that's how I remember 9/11. And by the way, I do have my motorcycle license. I still have my motorcycle license, and I have never, ever, ever driven a motorcycle since that day. I'm not against them. I just never, I have so many other things going on. I just never drove a motorcycle. My friends have them, but I won't even, I feel, I'm nervous because it's been so long. I won't even go on one just because I really, other than taking those lessons at the time and taking the test. But anyway, just a little side note. It's just funny because I got my, the new real IDs they have now. I renewed mine recently, and I was looking at it yesterday. It still has my motorcycle license on there and my glasses. So you were getting on a plane in Atlanta. See, boy, that must have been nerve-wracking. But that's where I think everybody remembers where they were on 9/11 when they talk about it. Where were you? And I remember. I remember in 1990 when the first war in Iraq, and when we went in there and invaded Iraq was 1990. I remember that. It was 6 o'clock at night. I went to a meeting because I was teaching school, special ed at the time, and I remember driving home and hearing about them, bombing. I guess it was Baghdad at the time, So the next steps in the new waste acquisition, very good point. So I got to pay the $15,000 Monday. That's the first thing. And I talked to my lawyer today right after I won it. So what happens is that they have to sign a release giving me the name, transferring the name to me. They'll have to sign a release for the website, transferring the website to me, and of course for the phone company, transferring the phones to me. The other thing I got as part of it is I got the contents of the office and their mailing list. So I guess I'll go to their office, meet them, pick up all the contents of the office and the mailing list. So that will be the next thing that I do. I will then immediately get my staff to start, drawing up letters, emailing, contacting the people on the mailing list, introducing us to them and incorporating them into our company. So that's the story with that. Am I pushing? Are you pushing? What does that mean? I don't know. I'm sorry. Is that like a slang thing? I don't know. Am I pushing P? Am I pushing P? I don't know what that means, but whatever it is, you really want me to answer the question. I don't know what it is. You got to explain it to me. I'm ignorant to that. I'm ignorant anyway, but see, May 18th, 1980. So I will tell you, May 18th, 1980, I was a sophomore in high school, May 18th, so I was probably in school. But what else happened that day? Something must have happened. I was in 10th grade in 1980. I graduated in 1982. That's how I know I was in Jeff is not P. Jeff is not P. What about, I don't know this. The cat lady, so we're working on the cat lady. In fact, this week we started moving some of the stuff. Yeah, good. All right, Jim. I appreciate the fact that you don't know, because I feel, is that one of those things that's like a young teenage thing? P? Am I pushing P? I have no idea. Do I have to Google what the hell P is now? Oh, okay. All right. I will block that person then. It must be some negative person. So the reason why I didn't buy they did auction all their trucks off there. Well, I couldn't believe how much money they went for. Thousands. They had one truck, a roll-off truck, that went for $190,000. Now again, brand new, they're over, $250,000. I understand that. But this truck was 5 years old, 200,000 miles. Hey, I'm glad they made that much money, because now I know someday when I sell my business, that's the way maybe I'll do it. I'll piecemeal it. But anyway, I don't need their trucks yet. I don't want to speculate and buy trucks. I'm sitting in the yard. I already got a couple extra trucks. I'd rather wait until my trucks are used on the road every day, and then I need to buy a truck. I'd much rather do that. I think that's probably a better way to go. But again, I won't buy new. I will buy used, trucks. Even when I need trucks, I'll buy used trucks. So I didn't kick the cat lady out. We kind of just moved her. The cat lady, I'm lucky, because behind my property is some state property, some woods, some state-owned open land, open space. So all we're kind of doing is moving the cat lady 15 feet to that property. That way she can still come and take care of her cats. I'm putting up fences, and she can be back there, and it's not my problem anymore. I think that's the best solution to that. So yeah, what do you think of the mayor? So I've talked about this before. Mayor Picozzi in Warwick is a really nice guy. I mean, he is a nice guy. I've met him a couple times. Really nice guy. Really nice guy. But sometimes in business and politics, the nice guys finish last. You can't be nice. You're going to be tough. You're going to be stern. You're going to go back. And I think in his case, let me tell you how nice he is. For the people around the world watching me, okay, here's how nice he is. He won for mayor because he is known to decorate his house for Christmas every year, like over the top. Beautiful. And people come from miles around to see his house decorated. This is before he was mayor. He was a contractor. People come for years and years and that's how they knew him, because every year on the news they would talk about, Frank Picozzi's house being decorated for Christmas. He was always on the list of places you had to see at Christmas time. So now when he ran for mayor, that's how people knew him. Oh, it's the guy who decorates his house. See, he won for mayor. He's a really nice guy. He is a really nice guy. And I keep saying that because he is. I mean, he's courteous. He's professional. The problem is, and here's where I stop. When he became mayor, he ran on, hey, I'm going to make changes in the city. I'm going to run the city better. I'm going to do this. But he came in and he kept the same staff, kept the same people running the city, the same people that don't do a good job, same people that give the city a bad name. I don't hide the fact. I don't get along with the building inspector. He and I hate each other's guts. I hate his guts. And the reason why I get pissed off is because I get along with every other building inspector in every other city that I own property in. I deal with them all on a daily, weekly basis. Because of the type of property I buy, I'm always repairing things, pulling permits, dealing with the building inspectors. Look at the one in Cranston right now, the 39 units. That one there, we're completely rebuilding the deck. I've been meeting with all the building inspectors, the city, the mayor. So in Warwick, where Mayor Picozzi kept on this building inspector who is very negative. Here's the other problem with building inspectors, because they're bullies. Okay, he bullies other people, but other people are not outspoken like I am because they get afraid, for obvious reasons. They have to pull permits. They have to keep running their business. So he knows that. The building inspector, he knows what he's doing. He knows that he can bully these contractors, and they're not going to complain. They're not going to. It's like I was watching Law and Order the other night, and like somebody who gets raped, they don't want to come forward, and it's the same thing. It's like these people, these contractors, get bullied by this jerk, but they won't come forward and speak out against him. I will. I have nothing to hide. What's he going to do to me? Okay, he holds up permits, he holds me back by. Fine, I'll just go to another city and invest, like I've been doing in West Warwick and Cranston and Coventry and Johnston. I invest in other cities. I moved Butler Waste out of Warwick, where I store the containers, and that was a huge revenue generator for them. But you know what? That's my point, though. Mayor Picozzi should realize that this guy is actually hurting the city. Al DeCourt, the building inspector, is hurting the city, because now commercial businesses won't come into the city. They'll leave the city because they don't want to deal with this guy. Okay, so that's my point there. So but I feel bad because I think the mayor, if he just took a little control, a little charge, and told his department heads what to do, but he came in, and I understand what it is too. He came in, all right, that department's running, the guy's running the department, just leave him there, let it go. But that's not what you ran on. You ran on coming in and making changes and making the place better. Economic development. So that's why I get frustrated. And sometimes the voters get bullshitted. Oh, he's going to come in and make changes. So you vote, just like I said earlier, you vote for the person who you think is going to do a good job, and comes in and does it. Now, I'm not a voter in Warwick because I live in Cranston. Had I lived in Warwick, yeah, I would have voted for him, because he came across a contractor, so I have respect for that. He's in the same type of business, and B, he's a nice guy. So yes, if I was in Warwick, don't get me wrong, I would have absolutely voted for him if I was a voter in Warwick. My tenants, I encourage them. Yeah, this guy, Frank Picozzi seems like he's gonna be great. Vote for him. And then now that he's in, and I'm having these issues, and the issues are not getting resolved, obviously I feel a little differently. So that's the story with that. Let me see. Yeah, so Chicken Bucket said it. He got the votes because of the Christmas lights. I mean, I'm telling you, for the people in Australia and California and in Ireland that follow me and watch me, he won because of Christmas lights. And he's a nice guy. The problem is, once he won, that's how far it got, and that's why I feel bad. So that's the story with that. And it's one of those things where I wish that he and I could be friendly, not asking for special treatment, but because he's in the same type of business, I always felt like I could connect with him. But the problem is, he came in, I get this building inspector who I haven't got along with 10 years, and that's the problem. And look, he has to listen to his people. It's like me, I listen to my people, so the mayor has to listen to his people, but he should never have had that person stay. He should have brought in his own professional department heads, just like when a president, administration, what do? They come in, they bring in their own department heads. People walking behind me, they're bringing their own department heads. So it's the same thing. You bring in your own department head, and he didn't do that, and that's why we're stuck with this. This jerk being the building inspector in Warwick. And I will stand up to him. I've always stood up to bullies. I will advocate standing up to bullies. I don't believe in bullies. Bullies are the worst things in the world. That's why when I see campaigns against bullying, I support them. I agree with it. I don't like bullies. When I was a kid, I was bullied. I don't like bullies. And I will stand up to a bully every single time. And that's the problem that I have in Warwick. The building inspector in Warwick is a bully. First one I ever met that's actually a bully, unethical. Look, I could go on and on and on and on and on about it, but the bottom line, it's not going to get me anywhere. I'd rather just take my money and my time and invest it somewhere else in a city that I'm welcomed in and appreciates me, like Cranston, West Warwick, and Coventry, where in Johnston, I feel so appreciated when they see what I do in those towns, and I do the right thing. And in Warwick, I feel so unappreciated. That's why. In fact, it's interesting because my office is in Warwick. My main building's in Warwick. All my offices. I have no problem. If I get a deal somewhere else, I'll pick up and move. Because I've talked about this before. Somebody will say, well, somebody else will come in. Yeah, but the person that comes in may not pay the same level of taxes I pay. So Warwick will still lose. So that's as far as I'm concerned. Frozen yogurt market. It's interesting you should say that. So I sell frozen yogurt in my stores. It's one of the products I sell. I have a frozen yogurt machine, soft serve, and also I sell some hard frozen yogurt. Would I have just a frozen yogurt store? Absolutely. Why people go into a niche market and narrow their customer base is very, very difficult for me. I would never do that. And, the frozen yogurt stores, you see them. They open up. They're open up for 6 months, a year. All of a sudden, they're gone. Here today, gone tomorrow. And now, for me, it's benefited me because I then buy their equipment for 10 cents on the dollar, and that's what I put in my ice cream shops because I buy used equipment. I will not buy new. But I'll get something a year old. So that's how I feel with the frozen yogurt market. I do sell frozen yogurt as one of the items that I sell as part of my frozen desserts that I sell in my ice cream shops. But I would not just have a frozen yogurt store. It's too narrow. It's too narrow, and of course, who am I? You got the Pink Berries, you got those other, what's the one there, the big Froyo World. You got those places, where you go and they weigh your yogurt and you pay like $20 for a cup of yogurt. Look, they might be doing something right. Again, I'm glad it works for them. It doesn't work for me, so I rather just offer that as an ancillary item to my ice cream and desserts that I sell. Do I buy used everything? No, not everything. My Tesla was brand new. My Audi was brand new. My hot tub was brand new. So certain items I will buy brand new because I know I take care of them. They'll last forever. I will buy used. So talking about ice cream equipment, I only buy Taylor soft serve machines, Taylor slush machines. Those I will buy used because Taylor is a fabulous company when it comes to service. They service their own equipment. So Taylor of New England's in Massachusetts. So I'll buy a used machine. I will then have Taylor come down, go through the whole thing, refurbish the whole thing, make it brand new for me. So yes, there's a good example where I will buy used Taylor equipment because I have no problem with that. The audiovisual equipment I buy, all brand new. Obviously, we need to know that when we go on a job site, the projectors are brand new, they're going to work. So it all depends on what the piece of equipment is. If it's a piece of equipment with moving parts, like the trucks, like the garbage trucks, like my ice cream equipment, I will buy used, but I will go through them, refurbish them, and make sure they're up and running. And that's how it's worked for me. The war on drugs is not, they're not winning the war on drugs, unfortunately. I feel, so the whole drug thing, so obviously we know pot's a big thing, marijuana's a big thing, it's all out there now, it's becoming legal everywhere, blah, blah, blah. I smoked pot once in 1997. December 12th, 1997. One time, have never touched it since. One time, took one drag from one joint. I remember the date and the time. Why? Because it was the night that we opened up my nightclub and we were partying in the back and they were all passing around. I went in the back, hey Jeff, try this. Wasn't impressed. Do I, in some of my properties, are there people that rent from me that grow? Absolutely. Legal? Yes. So it is what it is. Pot's one thing. The heroin, the fentanyl, all that stuff, absolutely against it. It's a stain on society. It's terrible. It's a waste of money. People die from it, from the overdoses. My nephew died from it. I have. It's a negative, bad thing. It's awful. I can't say that. So it's unfortunate we're losing the war on drugs. It's unfortunate that people waste their money buying drugs. Do something else. Use your money for something positive. Even alcohol. Drink alcohol. What's wrong with that? Can't you get a little buzz from alcohol? Why do you have to do something worse that's going to potentially kill you? So that's a sore subject with me. And I can't. So it's really unfortunate. It ruins people's lives. It ruins families' lives. The parents that do it ruin their kids' lives because they don't really have the time with their kids. They're not setting an example for their kids. They're not teaching their kids. So it's all bad. It's all bad, which is really, really too bad. So the truck guy is a salt lady truck guy. So the salt lady's still living in the apartment. She's going to pay us $150 to clean up the mess. And if she doesn't, we're going to take it out of her rent on the 1st next week. And then she'll be late with the rent. It'll become a big thing. The truck guy, the truck driver is no longer with us. And I have zero tolerance for that, unfortunately. So the driver that doesn't like the seat, that's the one who took the truck out in the middle of the night. Didn't like the seat in the truck, but used the truck to steal from me. So that's what happened with that driver. That driver's fired. That's right. So you make money, just put it in the capital letters. Fired. That's right. The salt lady owes $150, and she better. So she's going to pay it, and if not, she can move. But she'll end up paying it. She'll end up paying it. You know, look, I'll give her that it was by accident, even though I don't believe it. But why did she pick it up? Why didn't she sweep it up and clean it up? See, and that's my point about, people saying, oh, slumlord. Oh, look at that. The bucket of ice, rock salt's all over the place. A slumlord. No, it was the tenant who did it and didn't clean it up. So there's a good example. And that's why, we try to be strict. The fact that we put the rock salt there for all our tenants, so that way if it is icy, we did a courtesy. We were offering a courtesy. And that's what happens. You get slapped in the face with it, it's funny, property in Newport. Newport's an interesting town. Newport, Rhode Island, of course, everyone knows the mansions, the waterfront, the harbor side. Newport, the Tennis Hall of Fame. Newport's a great, great area. Newport's interesting, though. You got the mansions on Ocean Drive, and in Bellevue Ave, you got the mansions. But then you also have some low-income housing in Newport, too. Newport is very, very diverse. So there's a lot of auctions, house auctions in Newport. For me, again, it's a 45-minute ride. You have to go over 2 bridges to get there. So it's out of my comfort zone. But I do always look at the auctions because, yes, if there was ever an auction for a waterfront piece of property, it might be, okay, look, I might have to go to that auction and see what happens. It's like Block Island, I always look for the auctions of Block Island as well, too. Let's see. What was the other one here? Newport is very nice. That's what I'm saying. It's beautiful. I mean, I love Newport. It's a beautiful. The beaches. You got the beaches in Newport. It's a great place to visit. Fort Adams. I know Newport very well. The Newport Country Club. So yeah. So Newport is anybody who's visited Newport knows it's a beautiful place. Of course, and Judge Judy has a house in Newport. Jay Leno has a house in Newport. Mansion, I should say, mansion. When I say house, mansion on the water in Newport. So let's see. That's exactly right. So, Bobby, the amount of rock salt is just as, because you got too much rock salt, it doesn't melt, and you can slip and fall in the rock salt. So that's exactly right. Butler, make me a moderator. All right, so how do I do it? I'll make you a moderator. Tell me how to do it. Just tell me how to do it, and I'll be glad to have you be a moderator on here. I think that'd be fun. You need a decent, reasonable one-bedroom apartment. You lost yours in a fire last year. So we do have one-bedroom apartments. I was talking about that earlier. I don't keep track of everything that's available just because I have 5 people now that handle the rentals, and they're up on the board in the office. They keep track of that. But I know we have one-bedroom apartments because we have the 39-unit building that we are getting ready this week to rent some of the apartments. There's some one-bedroom apartments in there. Is Providence on you guys? No, Providence is actually is in my comfort zone. I'm always looking. Now, there are certain parts of Providence. I like Federal Hill and I like the East Side. So those are 2 parts of Providence that I definitely would invest in. Multifamilies. No, I'm not going to be Judge Judy's neighbor. I mean, obviously she, I could drive by her house, I think. But yeah, so I don't think I'll be her neighbor, Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. I've seen that before. All right, so the moderator gets rid of the trolls. That's really, really cool. Yes, I would love to have you do that, make money, because you're on All My Lives all the time. So that would be cool. We'll have to figure out how to do that. Because you're right, while I'm answering the questions, we can get rid of all the, the people that, what's today? Well, you know what it is. What's Saturday and Sunday? Saturday and Sunday, it's Meet the President. It's also Troll Day on TikTok. So that's the story with that. You know, the trolls do. The trolls are. You know, it's too bad about the trolls because if they just listened, yeah, you're young, I understand that, but if they did listen, if they really paid attention, you could probably educate them, whether it's investing, you know, growing, whatever they do, making more money, making decisions. If they really paid attention, instead, it's just easier for them to try to get the 15 minutes of fame, try and say something negative and get somebody's attention, which is too bad because now you have to say, okay, if they're looking for attention, what happened at home? No attention at home. Parents not giving them attention. You know, they're the type of parents we talked about earlier, which is too bad. So that's why I feel bad. You know, it is the best football weekend of the year. You're absolutely right. You know, actually, all these weekends, including the Super Bowl, is the best football weekend of the year. But, you know, this year, when I look back at this year, there were a lot of good just games. You know, obviously I'm a Pats fan. I'm in New England. I'm a Pats fan. But, you know, for me, I enjoyed watching the Saints this year. Of course, they didn't get very far. I enjoy watching San Francisco. I enjoy watching the Green Bay. So I enjoy watching a good game, a good football game. In the past, it was, yeah, just the Pats. But no, this year, there were just so many good games, good, tight, great games. And that's why I enjoy watching football. It's just good games. So that's the story with that. So the process to bring back the 39 tenants, we started that the other day. So what we did is this. Jasmine in the office is contacting each tenant, asking them, look, you've been displaced since September. Do you plan on coming back into the building? If you do plan on coming back, we are going to be opening up the next week or two. Are you ready to move back in? If they say yes, okay, fine. Then they need to move in. They'll pay the prorated rent for the rest of the month, 10 days, 8 days, 6 days, whatever it is. And then they're back in the building. If they're choosing not to come back in the building, which there are a few that chose not to come, a few, what we do is we'll give them a release. They'll sign a release. We let them out of their lease and give them their security deposit back. Because when I bought the building, the security deposits did transfer to me. So I am holding the security deposits. So that's the plan. The plan is to get them back in as soon as possible. That is the plan. And that's what I'm hoping for. The building on the wall behind me, that is the nursing home that I bought that we're in the process of designing 52 apartments in. That was a 128-room nursing home in Warwick, which I hate the fact that it's in Warwick because now I'm investing in a city that doesn't care about me and doesn't appreciate me. I'm turning a building. So I'll show it to you. So this is how it was when I bought it. This is it right here. So this is how it was when I bought the property. Okay, this is the nursing home. This is the front here, the front lobby, kitchen area. These were all the rooms. So it's 128 rooms, okay, in the nursing home. It's on 6 acres of land. Now, I bought the property for $1.1 million 3 years ago. I'm using it as a storage building now, but the engineers and the architect, actually, they're pretty, I think the architect, they're finally, what happened was I had it designed once by one architect about a year ago. And I told him what my budget was. I told him what I wanted to do. And he drew the Taj Mahal. He drew a $10 million building that it would be upside down the minute we started doing the work on it. So I had to hire another architect because he didn't want to hear it. He was Picasso. He didn't want to hear what I wanted since I'm the customer. So I hired another architect who's almost done redesigning it. And it's going to be gorgeous when it's done. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be 52 apartments. A mix of studios, 10 studios. So on this end right here, these are actually already studio apartments. When this was a nursing home, they built 10 studio apartments here for people that would go there on a temporary basis for rehab, that are going to be re-entered back into their own independent house. So that's what that is. But then the rest is going to be 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments. Anyway, so we're in the process of getting it ready now. My point is, getting back to Warwick, I'm taking a piece of property that's sitting there now. They're only collecting about $35,000 a year in taxes. When this is done, it's going to be probably $300,000 a year in taxes. So you think Warwick the mayor would realize, hey, this guy Jeff's investing in my city. He grew up in the city. He's from the city. Went to high school in the city. He's reinvesting in the city. He has 4 businesses in the city. So maybe I should really have a talk with this building inspector and tell him to shut the F up. But no, it's not happening. So now you're getting me going. All right. So anyway, now you guys are getting me going. See. But anyway, so that's a project that we're working on, and that is so that particular project is a good example where that's the biggest project I've ever done, and it will be the biggest project I've ever done. I don't really need to do anything bigger than that after that. Once that's done, that's kind of like my crown jewel. It's a challenge, and and it'll be really exciting when we do the project. I got some really great people involved. The engineer who's doing all the engineering, the applications, his office happens to be right next door to that property. The architect who's doing the drawings for that property did the condos across the street and behind it. He designed them years ago. So what's nice, see, what cities like to look at in the grand plan is that you're not coming in and not, the building fits into the neighborhood, into the landscape of the neighborhood. So that's what the architect is doing. Obviously, he's going to design it so it matches the landscape of the other properties in that neighborhood. So the neighbors are welcoming to the project. I got some really nice neighbors on the right-hand side. There's 4 or 5 houses on the street on the right that I've actually had an opportunity to talk to some of the neighbors, really nice people. I want them to feel comfortable with it. I guess when it was a nursing home, there was a lot of problems between them and the neighbors, noise and ambulances coming all the time. You know, it's a nursing home, so a lot of people always sick and dying. So, again, I want to be a good neighbor to those neighbors. And that's why I'm not putting 3-bedroom apartments in, because I'm not looking to have families in this property. I'm looking to have adults, professional adult community. So that's why my plan for it is very specific. I'm no kidding, get it done before 2008 comes back. I'm hoping to have it done this year. My goal is to have that done by the end of this year, and that's a tall order, but I'm trying to be real aggressive. I'm pushing everybody to get it done this year, so hopefully that will get done. Again, that will be my crown jewel. That will be, you know, the biggest project I ever did, and at that point I can sit back and say, hey, look what I did. Kind of like I don't know what you call it, just a special project, and that's what I want to do, you know. Let's see. What am I doing here? I want to see what else I did. Someone else buy the waste business office building. Which waste business? Oh, yeah, so the warehouse. So, yeah, I sold that. So I had bought a warehouse at the auction 3 years ago, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was an old mill building, an old mill warehouse. And the parking lot was very small for the building. So when I started the waste business, it was a good temporary place, but it was never a long-term solution for the waste business because you need a lot of land to store your dumpsters, your trucks. So it was a short-term solution for that. So when I said, okay, let me put that on the market, let me sell that building and use that money to buy something that's more, you know, that would work better for me. So yeah, so I did. I sold that building back in December. Last month I sold the building. And that's why I was able to move Butler Waste. So the assisted living, well, yeah, so let's talk about this. When I bought that nursing home, my goal was to make it into an assisted living. That is really what I want, my first idea. The problem with that is, realistically thinking, I already had 4 businesses. Do I really want another business? Because assisted living is a business. You have to hire staff. You need nurses. You need directors. You need maintenance people. You need chefs because you have to have a full kitchen of 3 meals a day. So it's a whole business model when you have an assisted living, and there are so many huge assisted living companies out there that do it right. So that was my first idea, and of course you need a lot of capital to do that. So that was my first. Then I thought, well, you know what? My comfort zone is apartments. Let me do apartments. So that's why and again, with apartments, all you need now is a maintenance team. You know, keep the place up and running. If it's all brand new, you have minimal breakage. So that's why I decided to go with the apartments. That's why I went that way. Let's see. You have to do it on your end to make me a moderator. All right. So where do I do it on here? Let's see. How do I do it? Make you a moderator. Let's see. I'm looking. Because that would be great. Listen, make money. This would solve this problem in the future. I'm looking right now how to do it on my end. I'm not going to do a pool there, but we are going to probably do a gym there. We are going to have we're also going to have a meeting room that they can sign out, tenants can sign out and use. There's going to be a laundry room. There's going to be a common space for the mailboxes. So yeah, it is going to have a community room. There will be a community room. But there won't be any pool there, no. Pools are a huge liability in some of the apartment complexes. That's why you don't see pool. In smaller complexes, you don't see pools. You see them in the large 100-unit places because obviously you have more and more people using it. You can justify the cost of lifeguards, maintenance people, pool people. So that's why you don't see it in the small ones. I'm trying to find, is there any, oh yes. So there is enough, so the parking, there is enough parking. So the code is 2 parking spaces for every apartment. I have a problem with the code because when you think about it, I think it should be 1 parking space for every bedroom. Theoretically, you have one. You might have a driver in each bedroom, but they don't do it that way. They do 2 parking spaces for each apartment. I guess they're assuming what? The old-fashioned mother and a father's, family, the standard family, picket fence. But anyway, so there for every apartment, I need 2 parking spaces. So in the front right now, there are 65 parking spaces. In the back, because we're putting apartments in the back, we have room to put another 60 parking spaces. So I'm going to have more than enough parking there, which is going to be nice. And again, it's on 6 acres. Now, part of the 6 acres is wetlands. I have a little river that runs in the back, which is really cool. And but I have enough room to put parking in the back. So it's going to have more than enough parking. I want to add some more trees, more greenery to make it more private from the road. Right now, when you come down the road, you can see the building. So I want to add some more greenery, more trees to make it more private. But yeah, plenty of parking. So there are cameras on the 39 unit. So the old camera system is there. That was there and it operates. The only difference is I can't see it remotely. See, my camera systems, I could log in right now and I could actually show you the cameras on my systems. So we're going to upgrade it and add it in where I can log in remotely. If something happens here now, we have to go there and watch the videotape to see if something happened. So there is security there. It's just not the secure. It's not convenient for me to look to see if there's a problem. So, yeah, I do watch Boomer on the sports on CBS. Yeah, I watch Boomer. Why you ask? User 1322236778856. You're just a number to me. Oh God. Oh, Chicken Bucket is telling me how to do it. All right, click. Let me see. Click money name and click manage your. Oh, all right. Let's try it. All right, let's see. Make money. So following likes. Following. It's not giving me the option. I clicked money name. Oh, what did I just do? Let me try it on here. All right, everyone, this is really cool. Look, you're all learning with me, so don't worry. Bear with me. You're all learning with me, too. You're all learning with me, too. Let's see. Yeah, it's not giving me the option. I clicked on Money's name, and I really want to add him as a moderator. Shoot. All right. It's not giving me the option. I did click Money's name and it didn't give me the option. Let me see if I'm missing a step. Click manage. You'll see add moderator. Yeah, see, I don't see manage on there. When I click his name, I don't see add moderator on there. Let me see. You guys, this is cool because I mean that would be really cool because then you're right. He could be a moderator with me and. See, there's no manage on there. It just has, oh, wait. I'm sorry. There it is. Manage. Add moderator. All right. I added you. Now what happens? Do you get an invite or something? I clicked add moderator. Anybody? I clicked add moderator. Yeah. Add moderator. Make money, I added you. Now what? Yeah, you're on there as a moderator. All right, maybe that's what it is. All right, cool. All right, so I added them. Good, so you can get rid of the trolls. Very cool. All right, that worked. All right. Let's see now. All right. Hey, by the way, thank you, Chicken Bucket 105. Okay. I like chicken and I like buckets. Chicken bucket, that's great. Listen, I got to ask you, where did you get the name from? So I love unique names. Like, of course, mine's Jeff never had job security. Everybody knows why I never had job security. So chicken bucket. Can I assume that you like eating chicken out of a bucket? Did you work at KFC and you used to eat buckets of chicken? I gotta know. I gotta know. Now you got my curiosity. I did it on the device I'm live on. Did you? I did it. It says you're the moderator. Did you? Absolutely, you can do that. You can go back in your unit. You're just going to call my office, Real Chulo 718. Call the office, talk to Jasmine, and you know we started working on the deck over there. So my guys, you know, everybody that works there work for me. They're all my own employees. They're working at the building now. You call, you can make a time, and of course you can get into your unit and get your stuff. Obviously, you know. I feel bad about all these tenants that got displaced there. I think it was handled wrong from a lot of different angles, and yeah, there are tenants that still have their stuff in the building. So yeah, no problem at all. Real Chulo 718, absolutely. Just call the office and you get your stuff back, and hopefully you're living somewhere that you're happy in, and we'll go from there. Make money. Well, it says you're a moderator, so I guess you are a moderator now. Oh, that's funny. So you worked with a guy that left trash in your truck every day, walked chicken buckets across the parking. Okay. Well, then I can understand why you came up with the name. I do love the unique names. I really do. When people come up with a creative name, you know, whether it's Facebook or, you know, YouTube. You know, I used my Jeff never had job security. I've had the name like 10 years, use it for 10, 15 years, even when I didn't have job security, when I never had job security, and that's why I still use it, because I still kind of feel that way. And of course, that's also my name on YouTube. So, by the way, I want to remind everybody, I do record these lives, and I post them on my YouTube channel after. So if people come in late, you only see a piece of it, you're interested in seeing me for 2 hours, you know, when you're trying to get to sleep tonight, you know, I'm a good sleep aid. You watch my video, you'll fall right asleep. By the way, talking about that, I pulled an all-nighter last night. I have to admit it. Ozark came back, and it's my favorite show of all time. And last night, I did watch 4 episodes of Ozark last night on Netflix. Jason Bateman's my favorite actor, and so I had to watch that last night. I had no choice. So I watched the 4 episodes of season 4. Tonight I'll watch the other 4 episodes probably. All right, click their name, them manage. It will give you option to block. Okay, cool. All right, good. Yeah, because we don't need the trolls. We just don't need the trolls. That's great. That's a really cool thing that you can block them, make money. That's beautiful. And Chicken Bucket, thank you very much for helping. I really appreciate that. Got you. Perfect. All right, good. See, we are all learning. So that's my point about learning things. Every day I learn something. So I know the young people on there, oh, you know, the old people are on TikTok. Well, whatever. You know what? I'm learning it. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, I'm learning it. So, and even make money. Just, oh, yeah, make money as moderator. Got you. Yeah, perfect. Moderator. So that's great. So we can do that from now on, too, because that makes it so much better, you know. Any other questions that people want to ask? I'm trying to think what else we haven't talked about tonight. We talked about the auction that I won today for $15,000. You know, I'm working on you know, the different properties, the 39 unit. I showed everybody yesterday the garage that I purchased for, by the way, to fix our trucks. So all that is just to repair my trucks in the garage. Let's see. Now that's funny. Wait a minute. Jeff's ever had biggest fan. Wait. Let me see that there. Jeff never had biggest fan. Hey, Jeff. Now that's great. Does everybody see that? That's fantastic. Oh, God. That's funny. Thank you for loving my content. I appreciate it. I know sometimes it's boring. You know, the other night, so I can tell you a funny story. The other night, I was posting some TikToks, and I remembered, or I wanted to post something that was on my mind all day long. And I'm sitting there with my wife. I said, Carissa, I can't remember what I was going to post tonight. It was important. I thought about it all day long. So she said, well, you're having TikTok block. And I thought that was really funny because it was true. I had TikTok block. I couldn't think of what I wanted to post that night. TikTok block. So I thought that was funny. Anyway, neither here nor there. I went on, I looked at my list of questions. Because what I do now is when people make comments, I decide what I want to, respond to and stuff. TikTok block. Well, thank you for loving my content. I appreciate that. I just try to share things that happen with me, try to share the daily things that happen with me, roadblocks, speed bumps. Here's a good example. So Tim in my office, Tim used to he was a district manager for D'Angelo's for 17 years, 18 years, something like that. He now is one of my property managers. He's fantastic. He's great. But he also is my district manager for my 3 ice cream shops. So he's helping me open up the Hershey shop. And, he has his experience, and I have my experience opening up stores, ice cream shops. So he never opened up a store before. So we sat down the other day, and I told him the first steps. So we had to download the application from the Rhode Island Department of Health. I've always said positive things about them. They're great to deal with. The application was so user-friendly, so easy. I went over that with Tim. We have to give him a check for $160. He's working on that. Then I told him next step is we have to go to the Warwick building department because it happens to be in Warwick, and we have to apply for a certificate of occupancy. So Alan, Seth, if you're watching, the building department people, you're watching, yes, I'm going to be applying for more permits for another business that you can hold up and not give to me. But anyway, so we're going to do that. Thank you, Make Money. I appreciate the update. Trolls are gone, It kills me. You think the trolls would have something better to do on a Saturday night, or you think they'd want to learn something. But you know what? Now they can go. But I guess I'm giving them too much credit if I think they want to learn something. So anyway, so I'm going over this now with Tim as the different steps to get the ice cream shop open, but I guess I'm giving them too much credit if I think they want to learn something. So anyway, so I'm going over this now with Tim as the different steps to get the ice cream shop open, and it's going to be it says moderator on there. Yep, it says moderator. I can see moderator. Make Money. I can see moderator on there. So yeah, Bobby. They hate me in Warwick. It's too bad. Listen. You know what the sad part about the whole thing is? Here's the sad part. So the building department, you get the building inspector, right? Then you get his assistant. Then you got a bunch of regular inspectors that go out and do the work. You get the electrical inspector, the plumbing inspector. Then you get the regular commercial inspectors, residential inspectors. I didn't know any of them, but the problem is they work for Despicable Me. So because they work for Despicable Me, he tells them what to do. He orders them what to do. Go give Jeff Butler a hard time. Go look at all his properties. Go inspect his properties. Ask him for this, ask him for that. Make it very difficult for him to be a business person in Warwick. So it comes from Despicable Al, right? And it goes down to all the minions. And it's unfortunate because they could be good people. Look, in another life, I probably could be friends with these people, right? But because of the circumstances they're not my friend because they're doing, I guess, their job, or they're doing what their boss is telling them to do, which is not their job, to harass and bully people. I was saying this the other day. So what happened was they hired a new inspector, this girl Madison. Yeah, it looks like she's in her 20s. I'm not, not judging at all, but she looks like she's in her 20s. New inspector, anyway. So what does Despicable Al do? He sends poor, innocent Madison out to try to give me a hard time. What's he doing? Throwing the girl out there to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give me a hard time. So that's my point. What a jerk. What a real disrespectful jerk to do that to that girl. Because what happens is I videotape all my interactions with them because it's so inappropriate what they do. So now I have my interaction with her on tape. And I've talked about this before. I will at some point post that all over the internet. So now as she lives her career as an inspector, she might be good. I don't know. Again, because she came in working for the enemy, now other investors, other contractors, her future husband, family, kids, grandchildren will see this video where she gave me a hard time. And is that really what she wants? So that's the problem. For me, I stand behind my videos. I have nothing to hide. I stand behind my videos. You know what? So will she stand behind the way she treated me? The guy Doug that she was with, will he stand behind the way he treated me? He's going to have to because it's going to be on the internet. So you know what? So, and again, do they have people and friends watching me live tonight? Probably. Do they watch my TikToks? Absolutely. That's where they get a lot of their information from to come after me, from my TikToks. I know that. I bait them once in a while. I bait them. One time I said I'm putting a third floor on a first floor building. Next thing you know, they call me up. They want to inspect the building looking for a third floor. So I do bait them too. It's too easy. Would I ever? Yeah, so here's the story with that, okay? They are pushing me to pull out of Warwick. I've made it clear, and I will say it again here now. If there's anybody that's going to be running for office in Warwick, mayor of Warwick next election, please come see me. I'm looking to support somebody. If I end up pulling out of Warwick completely, then I will be glad to spend thousands supporting a new somebody to run. The only caveat would be they have to agree to fire the building and put a professional, fair-minded person running that department. There are so many, in dealing with the different building departments in Rhode Island, there are so many great building inspectors and assistant building inspectors that obviously the assistants are probably looking to move up that would probably do a great job as a head building official in Warwick. Probably do a great job because I work with them every day in the different cities and towns. And you know what? That would make an opportunity for one of those people to move up. Give them an opportunity. Get rid of the old, geezers, the old people that are negative, who are bad, who are unethical, immoral, and make room for a good person who really wants to come in and do the right thing. So, that's the way I look at it. So, so that's the story. That's the story with that, My mod is bad as being a mod. Okay, all right, sounds good to me. Free speech, well, that's exactly right. So I do have free speech. Listen, but again, they have free speech the way they want to treat me. I have free speech. That's why, hey, look, I wrote a nasty letter once to one of my tenants. I got to tell you a story. So I wrote it. I'll tell you the story. So I have a building in Warwick, and what happened was the tenant. This tenant called the building inspector because their toilet would not go down, and they said we weren't doing anything about it. The sewer wouldn't go down. Well, there's a sewer pump in the parking lot of this building because we're below level for the sewer system. So we have a pump, a pump that pumps the sewage out. So not to get gross, but you can imagine what goes down the sewer. Well, this particular tenant kept throwing diapers, baby wipes, things down the sewer that shouldn't go down the sewer. The pump burned out. When the pump burned out, because this tenant was throwing all the wrong stuff down there, it backed up. So I wrote this tenant a letter. I said, look, this is the third time I've talked to you about this. You cannot be throwing those things down the sewer, blah, blah. And I was very, very colorful in my letter. So when I was having a disagreement with the building inspector, we had to go to court. The building inspector thought, I'm going to make Jeff look bad because that's what I try to do. That's his, his fun in life. So he presented the letter in court and read it to the judge, and it was not colorful. It was me giving the tenant a hard time for throwing the stuff down in the sewer. So that being said, okay, that letter will live with me for infamy. I have no problem with that because I stand by what I wrote in the letter. Could I have been a little more tactful? Absolutely. But I wasn't. I was straightforward with the tenant, told the tenant what I thought about her. After 3 times of throwing the stuff down the sewer, she backed up the sewer. Now, there are 5 other tenants in the building, so when she backed up the sewer, she didn't affect just herself. She affected everybody in the building. And, of course, because the building inspector in Warwick is always looking to jam me, use that as an opportunity to jam me. Oh, the building has backed up sewer, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that being said, they presented it to the judge in Warwick. The judge in Warwick happens to be a relative of a councilman. Yeah, whatever, and was never a judge before. It used to be some sort of state or city prosecutor. It was a state prosecutor, whatever. So this judge has never been a judge before, gets paid by the city. So again, I knew I was going to lose in front of her anyway, which is fine, because when I lose in municipal court in Warwick, I appeal it to district court, which is the real court in the state of Rhode Island, because it's Kent County District Court. They don't care about the city. They care about the law. They care about what's fair. And every time I appeal it, I usually win. In fact, I can't even think of a time I lost in district court. So the judge wasted her time. I guess, whatever, she made her kudos with the building inspector. She impressed everybody by, saying that, this was where they were trying to get access to the building. I would not let them in the building, that same building with the sewage problem. So though she did order me to let them in, and that letter was presented as a court document, ultimately, they lost because they still have not, to this day, have not gotten that building. So I feel like in that case I won, and it's still in district court as we speak under appeal. So you know what? That's how I stand up to the bullies. They were a bully. They used her as a pawn. The poor thing, the poor judge who went to law school, who took an oath, decided to side with the building inspector rather than looking at the facts of the case. So you know what? She has to live with herself too. Again, these videos last forever. So that's the story with that. Meanwhile, make a long story short, so that letter, that video of me with that letter, is going to last forever. I have to stand by it. Is it my best moment? No. I probably should have written a better letter, more professional letter. In the future I will, so I did learn my lesson. But, it's out there. I have to live with it. It's out there. So when these people show up to these inspections and treat me like a jerk and act like bullies, that's out there, and that's going to live forever with them. And that's my whole point. That's my point. So, we have one 4-bedroom apartment for rent right now that's actually going on Monday, is just so you know, in West Warwick. We just renovated it. And the reason why it's just going because we just painted it and they're putting the floor in now. And that's going to be rented for the first. So if you are interested in it, I would call in that 4-bedroom. It's the only 4-bedroom we have right now. It's a nice apartment, first floor. It's a first floor apartment. And I only happen to know about it because there was a plumbing issue and I scheduled the plumbers. I had to schedule one of the plumbers to go over there. So that's the story with that. Rent relief update. So rent relief, every day I see money coming into our accounts from rent relief. There are more and more tenants applying for rent relief and getting approved. And of course, we still have the $12,000 that we're getting, supposedly. It hasn't come into the account yet. We're getting it, but it hasn't come into the account yet. But I will tell you, I think we're up to like 34, 35 people that have applied for rent relief and got approved. I actually suggested the 39 tenants that are, the building with the 39 tenants, any of those tenants that are coming back in, I suggest they apply for rent relief because rent relief, it seems to be approving a lot of people now. And maybe they can help them move in, So, we pay $1,900 a month where we are now. All right, and you're looking for the 4-bedroom. So yes, so the 4-bedroom that we have, it's $1,500 a month. The one that we're putting on the market on Monday. So there's a good example. So you just said you're paying $1,900 a month. How many people would turn around and you say, "Oh, I'll give it to you for $1,800"? No, my apartment's $1,500. I'm not going to do that. That's how much we get for it. So if you're interested, call on it and go take a look at it on Monday. It's a big apartment. So let's see. I don't know what the Warwick group is in Warwick. What is that? WAREQ. I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is. I keep getting booted and it says I've been blocked. Make money. So Gina MP2 says she's been blocked. Yeah, but you're on there. How are you on there if it says you're booted? TikTok is weird. So like I said, when I went on earlier tonight, what happened? I went on live, it booted me off. Then when I tried to get on, it said there were too many lives at the time. I don't understand that at all. It was crazy. No, I don't have any properties in upstate New York, though I do love upstate New York. My cousin, Chris's cousins live in upstate New York. They live in Schenectady, Albany area. It's a great area up there. Naskewana. I think I'm saying it right. Naskewana. It's where they make the E1 pump, the sewer pump. Talking about the sewer pump I was talking about earlier. It's made in Naskewana, New York. The company's actually in New York. So I always make a big joke about that because New York is the Big Apple. Well, I always call it the Big Poop because they make these gigantic sewer pumps in New York. So I think that I always call it the Big Poop. In a playful way because I love New York and I love upstate New York. I love New York. Hey, that would be a good slogan. The apartment is going to be posted probably on Craigslist on Monday if it's not posted yet. It probably isn't posted yet because they were finishing the floor. But if you want to see it before we even post it, like I said, you can call the office on Monday morning and talk to Jasmine. Tell her I told you about it on TikTok. They'll laugh. So. Yeah, I got to tell you, there's a glitch in the lives. I know it knocks people off and this and that. Who the heck knows what's going on? Have you ever traveled outside the U.S.? Well, yeah. So I've been to England, France, Germany, been to, of course, Mexico. Been on a lot of cruises. So the Caribbean and stuff like that. I've been, of course, in Canada. My wife wants to go to Italy so bad. She's being full-blooded Italian, so we're going to end up having to do that soon. But yeah, what happens is if you know my travel, the way I like to travel is I do a lot of these 3-day, 4-day trips. I love the 3-day, 4-day trips. I love them. Of course, we were in New Orleans last week. We were in Chicago in November. I love the 3- and 4-day trips. But obviously, to travel outside the U.S., it could be longer trip, longer time. The kids being in school, you're limited to when you can go. But yeah, we're talking about doing a lot more travel. I love traveling, even though I'm claustrophobic and being shut in on a plane is a little stressful. I love traveling. So yeah, call the office. Call the office on Monday, and we'll set up a time so you can go look at it. They're just finishing the floor now. Have I ever been to Connecticut? Yeah, I love Connecticut. Connecticut's great. You know, talking about my Audi convertible earlier. So in the summer, my favorite thing to do is at 9 o'clock at night, put the top down, and I drive through Rhode Island into Connecticut because I like going on the back roads, Route 44, Route 6, Route 14. I go out to Route 395, and I love traveling all the back country roads there just to go for a ride. And that's all Connecticut. I love Connecticut. I'm only 10 minutes from Connecticut when I drive. I drive west from my house. So yeah, so I do like Connecticut. And of course, I'll go to 395. I'll go south. I'll go to the casinos, Mohegan Sun, Foxwoods. So yeah, I love Connecticut. Mystic. All right, yeah, definitely call Monday and let them know, and then we'll. So, no, I never went to war. I do respect a lot of people that have gone to war. I hired a carpenter last week as a veteran. He was in the Army for 16 years, and actually he was in the construction battalion. Where he built bridges and built whatever they call it, and the Army Corps of Engineers. And he just started working for me a couple of weeks ago. Great guy. So I have a lot of respect, obviously, for veterans, people that have been in the war. I noticed that business today. Ask for Andrew. I noticed today the business that I bought the name from today at the auction. It said veteran owned, and I looked in the trucks. It's veteran owned, so I guess they were all veterans that own that business that are retiring today. So that was really impressive. That was really cool. But yeah, so Saul. So my new carpenter's name is Saul, and yeah, he's a veteran. Very impressed. And he had some really cool stories to tell me. I even said to him, I said, we could sit here and talk for hours. So my job interview with him, the job interview was 15 minutes, but then we talked another hour just about, war stories about him being in the service and stuff. And it was very impressive. He was deployed a couple of times, and I really enjoyed hearing that so when people ask if I was war, so I was born in 1964. So when I turned 18, it was after the draft, so there was no more draft when I was 18 years old. So I, felt in between, and of course then I was too old, when it was the Gulf War. So I was right in the middle. So I'm too young to be a baby boomer, and I was too old to be, to go into the Gulf War. So that's what happened with that. Let's see. Make money, get the troll. Yeah, he's working on it. He's doing a great job. So your father was the same age as me. So yeah, so I'm 57. Hopefully I will live, longer. I feel like I'm a young 57. I'm active. I have a lot of energy. I guess I like to do a lot of different things. I like to travel. I like to ski. So I am active that way. Almost died yesterday, though. I will tell you, almost died. Went to one of my properties yesterday afternoon with Dwayne. The heat wasn't working in this house down in Narragansett. So I said, Dwayne, I'll take a ride with you down in Narragansett, take a look at it. So we rent this to college students. So we got to the house. We opened up the door to the stairs. The lights aren't working in the basement. A little strange. So we start going down the stairs. My foot went right through the bottom step. What happened was the step was broken. The kid says to me, oh, shoot, I forgot to tell you about that. The step broke a couple weeks ago. So what I stepped too far down. I actually fell. But I know how to roll. So I did roll. So what happened was I did not almost die, but if I hit my head on the concrete wall in front of me, I would have died because, I fell hard. I didn't get hurt, though, because like I said, I rolled. And I tucked and rolled. I know how to tuck and roll. So from when I used to take judo when I was younger. So some things still come back to me. But anyway, I will tell you, that's like the third or fourth time I've fallen and tucked and rolled and didn't get hurt. Anyway, so at the house, we had to fixing the heat. But yeah, the college kids rent the house. It's a big house in Narragansett, 4,000 square foot house in Narragansett. The kids rent it. And anyway, we fixed the heat. It was a bad zone valve. But I wanted to go there because I hadn't been in the house myself since September, so I wanted to put my eyes on it. So Typical rate a hard money lender will charge. Well, hard money lenders charge anywhere between 8%, which is few and far between. They'll advertise 8%. You show me somebody that gives you 8%, but it's 8% and 14, sometimes 16%. That's high. Really what you want to look at is anywhere between 11 and 12%. That's what you want to look at for a good hard money lender. If you build a relationship with a hard money lender, you'll be able to get it down to 8, 9, 10%. But if you're a new client, a new investment, plan on paying 12%, 2 points. 2 points is what happens if you borrow $300,000. A point is 1%. So what happens is $300,000, 1 point would be $3,000, 2 points would be $6,000. That's how a hard money lender does it. But, again, you start working with a hard money lender, build a relationship. It's the best thing you can do. The best thing I ever did was build relationships with the private money lenders. And now those relationships are coming back and paying me back tenfold. So I paid points way back when in 2015. Yes, I did. I don't pay them now. But the relationships are paying me back twofold. I'm able to buy bigger properties now, spend more money, because these guys trust me, they work with me, and of course they're making money. So build a relationship, find one hard money lender. A lot of people jump around from this one to that one to this one, but then you never build a relationship. It's like a bank. Build a relationship. We just started building a relationship with Bank RI. So far, I'm impressed. They've been great. They've been welcoming. And that's a conventional bank. So not only have I built relationships with private money lenders, but now I'm building relationships with banks, and it's important. So hard money lenders give you different times to pay back. They will ask you. So when you borrow the money, you want to be clear and concise on your exit strategy. So exit strategy means how you're going to pay them back. So what you want to do, and again, I may not talk in all the bank terms or the official financial terms that you will hear other people talk about on TikTok or on Facebook or on wherever. I don't know all the financial terms. I just know what worked for me. So when I talk about exit strategies, that's the exit strategy for me is the lenders want to know how you're going to exit from the loan, how you're going to get out, how they're going to get their money back. So what I normally do is this: if I have an investment opportunity, I email the lender. Say, look, here's my opportunity. I just bought this house at the auction, $200,000. I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to list it for $350,000, and it's going to take me 90 days to fix it up. I'm going to put it on the market. So my exit strategy will be to pay you off by 6 months. So I send that information to the lender so they can see that I have already done my due diligence. I've already done my research. I have a plan to get out of the loan. If they feel uncomfortable with your plan, if you don't give them a plan, they're not going to lend to you. So make sure your plan is realistic, and the best thing is to meet your goals. If you tell them you're going to get out of it in 9 months, you get out in 6 months, they love that. The reason why they love that gives them their money back to lend to somebody else. Because keep in mind, they charge those points, the 1%, the 2%, every time they make a loan. So if they do a loan once a month, they're getting that 1% once a month. They do it every 6 months, they're getting it every 6 months. So have a good exit strategy and a good plan. So for me, when I buy a single-family auction house, I'll send the investor, here's what I just bought at the auction, here's what I paid, here's what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend $25,000 fixing it up, I'm going to sell for this, here's how much I need to borrow from you. Then the lender will then come back to me, okay, Jeff, I'll loan you, $150,000, it's going to be 10%, 1 point, I need it back in 9 months, or I need it back in 12 months. So and it's a negotiation. You work with the lender. My multifamilies that I just started doing, because I kind of changed my strategy during COVID. Because there's no single family houses, I've been adding to my multifamily portfolio. What I did there was, same thing. I go to the lender. Okay, it's a 5-family house. Here's what I'm paying for it. It's fully occupied. Here's what it brings in for rent, because they want to know that there's enough money coming in to pay them back. And my exit strategy is, as soon as I buy it, I'm going to fix it up, I'm going to refinance it and pay you back. So it might be 6 months, 4 months, whatever. So that it's very important when you're going to talk to a private money lender that you tell them what your exit strategy will be and you stick to that plan. Overestimate. If you're not sure, overestimate. They'll be pleasantly surprised, when you finish it. One of the things that I do too, I do have a very diverse portfolio. I'll talk about that. The investors, so what I do is this: I always even underestimate how much I'm going to sell the house for. because when I sell it, they're going to know, because when they get paid back, and then they'll be like, oh, wow, you said you were going to get $289, you sold it for $329. So I always underestimate, to them anyway, what I'm going to sell it for, to show that I'm conservative. And I am conservative, because I want to make sure that I'm going to sell it and get the money back to pay them back. And I've never, ever, ever had any problem with any investor at any time, anywhere. It's always been a positive experience, and that's because I stick to my plan. But I always underestimate how much I'm going to sell it for. I always underestimate how much it's going to be worth, because it's always a pleasant surprise when it's worth more. The house in Narragansett I bought it at the auction. I paid $600,000 at the auction. When I first bought it, I was going to flip it for $800,000. I thought, okay, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to flip it for $800 and make some quick money. What I ended up doing on that particular one was I ended up refinancing it. I had put $200,000 down, so I refinanced it for $400,000. So I have a $400,000 mortgage on this 6-bedroom house in Narragansett. This big 4,000 square foot 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom. It's actually 6-bedroom house, a 6-bathroom house in Narragansett. It's a big house. Second floor is a nice ocean view. It's perfect. I bought it originally to flip it, but what happened was it was just before COVID. Was renting it, so I continued renting it. What happened? The housing market went up. The house just appraised for over $1 million. I refinanced it for $400,000, so I have a mortgage of $400,000 on a house that now is valued over $1 million. I'll keep it for now, but again, it's one of those things where it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. As long as I can keep renting it, making some money, covering my mortgage, making a little bit of money every month. Now, that being said, my mortgage is $2,200 a month, taxes and insurance. I'm renting it for $5,000 a month, so it's making a pretty good profit every month. That's why it's worth keeping it. Someday I might change. There's a good example. Later on, when I retire, maybe that's one that I sell, and that gives me some money to do something with. I don't know. But there's a good example of a house that I did buy originally to flip. It's a single family. I always flip the single families. But that one there is unique. It's a rental property. It's bringing in some good income. So that's why I decided to keep it. But I underestimated that one too. I told him I was going to flip it for $800,000. Like I said, it's worth over $1 million. Had I known, When you buy from a court auction, do you have to bring certified checks make out to you? Yes. So, good question. So, house auctions that I go to during the week, the regular scheduled advertised auctions, deposits of $5,000, $10,000, $25,000. They'll tell you ahead of time. You make a check out. You go to the bank. You have the check made out to yourself. So I go there and I have the check. It actually says Jeff Butler or Andrew Butler, because Andrew goes to the auctions too. So the check says Jeff or Andrew. So either one of us can use the check. If we win the house at the auction, we endorse the back of the check and give it to the auctioneer. And that's our deposit on the house. So that's how they do that. It's always a bank check, and you make it out to yourself. If you don't use the check, so we've had cases where we bought 3 or 4 checks, and you hold on to them for a couple months, there's no auctions. Then what happens is, man, if you endorse it and you just deposit it back in the bank again. So that's how that works. Well, the people that pay $5,000 a month are college students. So they're all dividing it up. They're all paying, in that case, it wouldn't be a family that pays $5,000 a month. These are college students that rent the space, and they're each paying, $1,000 each is what happens in that case. So yeah, you're not going to rent it for. And again, that's a specific particular rental in that particular case. It's an out of the ordinary rental. In the summer, the house rents for $4,000 a week because it's a beach rental. In the summer, it's literally in walking distance to the beach. You go on the second floor, you actually see the ocean. So that particular house is a unique situation. It's not typically where I'd rent that to a family for $5,000. If I was to rent it to a family, it'd probably be $3,000 to a family. Touch my camera through the fence. Where's that? Touch my camera through the fence. So no, so your auctions are 100%. So that's what's interesting. Your auctions are 100% of amount due at time of sale. That's odd. So here, though, that's not the case. Here, the reason being is that they have to clear the title. See, when there's a house auction, the bank doesn't own the house. They're forcing it into the auction to buy the house or sell the house to get paid back. So they have no right taking all the money at the time of the auction because it's not their house. So here what happens is we put the deposit down as the buyer of the house at the auction. It clears title, and then once it clears title, then I have to come up with the balance to pay for the balance of the house to buy it. What's interesting, though, It's crazy they would want money up front. But we were on vacation a couple of years ago in Los Angeles, and I'd like to see Hollywood, Beverly Hills. I always like to look at other cities and towns and counties, how they handle auctions. And I noticed there they did it at the courthouse. They didn't do it at the property. See, here in Rhode Island, when there's a house auction, you stand on the curb in front of the house. That's where they have the auction. But I noticed in California they had it at the courthouse. You went to the courthouse. At the same time, they listed the minimum bid. So say there was $630,000 due in the minimum bid, they would put it right online so you knew how much the minimum bid was. See, in Rhode Island, they don't do that. You have to show up to the auction, and then you start bidding, and then the bank will introduce their bid. So it's interesting how different areas of the country do it differently. I like the way they do it here. I have no issues with the way they do it here. But you get 90 days in Connecticut to pay the balance. That's reasonable. So, here's what's interesting about home auctions, foreclosure auctions. I got to go in 5 minutes. But what's interesting about foreclosure auctions is that you never know when they're going to close. It always says in the paperwork when you win it at the auction, closing will be held in 30 days. I would say 50% of them are held in 30 days. Half of them are not even done in 30 days. You're waiting. Look at the one I got now. November 2019, I won this property in Johnston. I'm still waiting to close 24 months later, 23 months later. So this is the longest I've ever waited. I have waited up to 6 months, 8 months before. This is a record. Typically, it is 90 days by the time the bank is ready to close, and then you do have to come up with a balance. What's funny about them is, it's halftime. All right, cool. Green Bay 7-0. Oh, all right, low scoring game. Thanks, Make Money, for the update. I usually have the TV on when I'm doing my live, but I'm in my office. I'm not in my studio. In the studio, I have a TV that I have on at the same time, so I can, multitask. So the auctions, what happens is that you're waiting for them to clear the title. So here's why when you buy a house at the auction, you can't go get a bank loan, because when the lawyer decides that they've cleared the title, they expect you to close in 72 hours. You better have that money in 72 hours, or they're going to give it to the next bidder. So that's why when you go to the auction and you win a house at the auction, say you want to buy a house for yourself at the auction, you really can't do that unless you've already done a loan or some sort of equity loan. You have the money aside. Because if you win a house at the auction, you don't know. You can go try to get financing, but you don't know when it's going to close. So now you go and you get a bank mortgage on this property, and it may not close for a year, and you wasted all that time and that money and the appraisals. So that's why auction houses, you have to have the money to close when the bank is ready to close. So that's you just can't go and borrow the money for that. Same thing with the short sale. So I just bought that house at the short sale a few weeks ago, right? Which I'm closing on Monday. So I bought the house at the short sale. I made the offer of $140,000 a year ago. A year ago I made the offer. It came through 3 weeks ago? Okay, Mr. Butler, we're ready to close. Get you $140,000. So again, I couldn't have gone a year ago and borrowed the money. The bank's not, going to keep that loan open for a year. So that's a good example where you have to be ready to come up with the money for those type of purchases. A short sale or the bank auction. You have to have the money somehow, another way. Let's see what else is there. So a bank takes a long time to close with the short sale. Like I said, took me a year. I mean, that was crazy. But bank loans right now are taking 45 days. Conventional bank loans, when I sell a house right now, a single family house, like a regular conventional sale to a real estate agent, I know it's taken 45 to 60 days to close a sale now. It used to be 30 days, but it really is 60 days. Well, that's why you don't spend the money. That's right. You have to hold on to the money and have it available. Make money, you have to have it available. And by the way, make money. I'm glad to hear that you make money. That's really, I would hate for your name to be "Don't Make Money," or "I don't make money." I'm glad it's you make money. Snowing right now in Green Bay, huh? Interesting. Cash is king. So cash is king for a lot of reasons. Hey, Nick, how you doing? Cash is king for a lot of reasons. Like I said, for the auctions, that way you have the money to close on things. Of course, you're not paying interest on cash when you have cash. And for me, a lot of my multifamilies I've been buying lately, they're cash offers. Do I have the cash? No, I use private money. But I mean, it is cash because I'm making cash offers. I'm getting better deals. I'm buying properties for a lot less than what they're worth. I can't talk about it right now, but I have a property I'm closing on this week. That was a very, very expensive piece of property. It's actually 5 pieces of property in a family estate that I bought. And I don't want to jinx myself, so that's why I'm not going to talk about it yet because the closing's at the end of this week. Once I close on it, I can share the information on that property and show you folks how cash was king in this case and what a difference cash made. You know what I'm saying? So that's the story with that. Anyway, so I appreciate all the likes you guys send. You know, I never talk, you know, I never ask for likes and follows, but I get them and I like it and I'm happy. And I don't know if everybody look, I'm like everybody else. I always like to get to that next level, right? It's like playing a video game. I want to get to that next level. And I think as of this morning, it's like 195,000 followers. You know, to get to 200,000 followers is unbelievable. Am I ever going to get to the million and the 2 million like all these famous TikTok? No, but I'm not trying to. I just like to know that I have an audience that appreciates me. And to me, I mean, when I was at 100,000, I'm thrilled with that. I have an audience that appreciates the information I'm sharing. It is a very specific audience because it's people that invest in real estate or own businesses. You know, so I mean, obviously, I'm not reaching out to a wide audience where I'm going to have 1 million followers, and I understand that, and that's why. But I do like sharing my information. Do you complete renovations on the condo to a living room to a garage for your folks? So you know what's interesting about it? I'm going to do a video there today, this week, because I have not been there. So Tim, my carpenter's been in there doing all the closet doors. So I don't remember. The closets there were ridiculous. They had these metal mirrored doors. They're all going. We framed them in, put normal, regular French closet doors in. So he did that last week, and we're doing 6-inch crown molding. My parents, you know, they want 6-inch. They're very, very picky what they want. They want 6-inch crown molding all the way around the whole interior of the condo. So Monday morning, Tim is starting that. So he's doing the crown molding. So I will come. I'm going to do a video this week showing the crown molding because that's going to be really, really nice. Decorative crown molding. And the doors. I want to see the doors. I'm curious about the closet doors. I ordered the flooring, so we're waiting for the engineered hard flooring to show up. Of course, supply chain bullshit. So we're waiting for the flooring to show up. But it doesn't matter. We got to get the crown molding. We got to get the doors in first. I'm going to have the painters go in, paint the whole thing, and then the flooring will go in last. But yeah, I'll do a video this week on the update on the condo. I'm glad you mentioned that. So one of my guys, Tim, has been in there, like I said, doing all the work. So what happens is, let's talk about that. You know, it's been very difficult lately because of the number of projects we have going on and the number of staff I have working for me, juggling everything, but it's working. It's working absolutely fabulously. Again, I talked earlier on this. My staff has been great. Everyone's been great. They're hard workers, doing a good job, take pride in their work. So Tim's a finished carpenter, so he's the one who did the doors, he's doing the crown moldings. When he's done, he'll leave there, go on to another project that I have, and the painters will come in, Donnie and Roger. They'll go in there. Donnie's my longest running employee, he's a painter. Donnie and Roger will in there, they'll do all the painting, fix the walls, get that all done. So I juggle. Then when they're done painting, then I can have the finished carpenter go back. You know, we have to finish the kitchen. And put all the wall plates on, the electric plates, all that stuff. So everything has to be done in succession. But it's a matter of juggling it and not forgetting things and not skipping things. I am going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to go watch that. That's why I said I had 5 minutes. What time is it? So I'm going to leave. I want to be off by 10. So anyway, I am going to... Again, I recorded this whole live tonight, so I will put it on my TikTok. I'll put it on my YouTube channel tonight. So if anybody came on late, you can watch on. You know, do I provide trucks for my employees? So certain employees I do provide trucks for. Certain employees I don't. The maintenance guys, obviously, they drive around on maintenance trucks. I have box trucks and pickup trucks. I provide all cars for my property managers. They drive around in cars, Priuses, Toyota Priuses, great car, fantastic car, perfect car. They're doing a lot of driving. Why spend a lot of money on gas? So I talk about that. My foreman, Dwayne, I provide a truck for him because he literally is like me. He drives from one job to the other all day long. He's on the road. And in his truck, he carries electrical supplies, plumbing supplies, HVAC supplies. So I provide the trucks. But see, a lot of my guys... So the way we do it is my contractors in the morning, they go to a job site. They're there all day long. They're not driving back and forth. You know, I'm not servicing other customers. I'm servicing my own properties. So my guys are not driving back, jumping around. They're going to a site, they're staying there all day long. So they drive from their house to the site and then back home again. So I don't necessarily need to provide them with the transportation because they're not going anywhere else but to their job site. But if I do have somebody on the road all day, yes, there's trucks available, they can use them, and that's what they do there. So so I do supply trucks if needed, if necessary. But anyway, so that's the story. That's the story on that. So anyway, I'm gonna go watch the rest of the game. I appreciate. Wow, I think I broke a record tonight. 2.8 likes tonight. 4.8 thousand likes. Is that what that is? That's great. But I appreciate everyone watching everything on here. Oh wait. Was that a question? Did I miss a question here? I hate to miss questions when I leave. No, I didn't. But again, with me on my TikToks, if you put questions on my TikToks, I do answer them, or I'll answer them on the next live. I never even planned on going live tonight, but I was sitting in my office. Let me go live. So I appreciate everybody who liked me tonight, everybody who watched me tonight. I'm going to put it on. Hey, make money. Let's do this. We'll have to stay in touch with each other and do this again. I'll coordinate my lives when you're available, so you can moderate for me. And I also would like to learn how to have people come on live with me too. You can do like co-hosts or whatever. I think that's cool too. I do have kids. I have a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old, 12-year-old girl, 15-year-old boy. And so I do have 2 kids. And my son started working at my ice cream shop last year. So it's funny, though, because kids are funny, right? He's 15. So I just found out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is exams. So he has no school because he didn't have to take the exams. I guess he did okay in the classes. Much different than I was when I was in high school. I had to take every exam extra. I had to look for extra credit to pass. Anyway, so he has no school Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I said to him, well, Benjamin, do you and your friends want to work these 3 days? I'll have you guys work. I got to clean out the 39 unit, the basement, all the storages. I got to clean them out, put stuff in dumpsters. Do you want to work? I'll let you know. So, I mean, he has the opportunity to make some money, and we'll see if he lets me know. But, I'll be a little disappointed if he doesn't do it, only because I want him to get that work ethic that I have. And so I don't want to force him, but I want to encourage him. Well, Benjamin, you work the 3 days, you can make yourself a couple $100. Because if they work, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, think about it. He'll make himself at least $200 more. And then I offered to have his friends work too, because they work at the ice cream shop and they're great workers. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I offered him to work these 3 days. They don't have to, but it'd be nice. Plus, it would help me fill up the dumpsters. My guys don't have to do it. So I'll have to keep you posted on that, whether he takes me up on the offer. So I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you saying that Footy, I appreciate you saying I seem nice. I try to seem nice, I'm trying. But anyway, so that's the story with that, So, but again, you have any questions on any of my TikToks, ask the questions, because I try to get to every comment. Talk about multitasking. If I'm like in my doctor's office sitting in the waiting room and I'm waiting for 20 minutes, I sit there and I look at the comments on my TikTok. So I try to fill in the time looking at the comments. When I'm laying in bed thinking about the next day and I can't get to sleep, I start reading my comments. So you're right, kids today want video games, and of course that's where Benjamin. Look, if I go upstairs right now, my camera, I guarantee you he's up there playing video games right now. I know that, okay? Actually, no, he's at a movie tonight. He went out to a movie. Chris brought him to a movie, but normally he'd be playing video games. But anyway, he might have thinking about it and taking me because he likes money. So, and I just don't hand him money. So if he wants to go out with his friends, like he went to a movie tonight, he wants to go out to dinner, he has to earn the money. So he might take me up on it. He has to just think about it and process it. When I said about a couple $100, hey, he'll take home a couple $100. I think he'll, 15 years old, making that, for a couple of days, I bet you he may do it. But I'm not going to force him, By the way, I want to remind everybody, Ozark came back. I watched 4 episodes last night. I'll probably stay up tonight overnight again, watch the other 4 episodes. What do I do for a living? You're going to have to watch my TikToks, what I do for a living. I own some rental properties. I own ice cream shops. I own a real estate company. What else do I do? I own Butler Waste. I own audiovisual services. Audiovisual services. Didn't even discuss that tonight. Have not discussed it. Rick left today to go to North Carolina to do a big conference. Ian's getting on a plane tomorrow to go to Palm Springs, California to do a big conference. I am thrilled that the audiovisual business is back and running. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. February and March, we have some huge conferences coming up, which I'm going to go on. So I'll be doing some lives, some videos from those conferences, just like I did back in November, because I want to share it. Jason Bateman is my favorite actor. He is the best. He is my favorite actor. I love everything he's in. I like his attitude. I like his personality. I read about him. He's a great family man. So if anybody knows everything about me, everything's about the family with me. When Jason Bateman filmed Ozark, what he did was, Gus being the producer, he scheduled 4-day shoots so that way he could go home and be with his family for 3 days every weekend during making Ozark. I was impressed with that because the family was more important to him. So they did 4 days on site and he would go home for 3 days. So that's the type of person he is, very much into family. That's why I'm impressed with Jason Bateman, because it's all about the family. So anyway, I do like, so let's see what else we got. Are the flips done under the same LLC? Oh, great question. So I have different LLCs set up. The flips are done under Elmwood Realty, where my other properties are owned by different LLCs. Elmwood Property Management, Spring Street Realty, Patuxent Village Properties. So those are all my other different Elmwood Realty North. So I have other LLCs for my multifamilies, but I do the flips under Elmwood Realty. Just the flips are on Elmwood Realty LLC. So yes, that's a good question. Oh, you're watching the new Ozark now? Yeah, I watched 4 hours last night, 4 episodes last night. So I'm going to watch the 4. Probably tonight I'll try to watch the 4. But since I pulled an overnighter last night, obviously I got bags under my eyes. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that again tonight. But I love Ozark. It's the best, other than Breaking Bad, to me, it's the best series that I've ever seen. Did I see in one of your TikToks that you own a Tesla? Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. Yeah, so I do. I have a Tesla I use for business, and I have a Tesla X, Model X, that I drive for the business, and I like it. So anyway, yeah. So Ozark is on Netflix. It's been the first 3 seasons were already on. Of course, now it's the 4th season. What they did is they divided the 4th season into 2 seasons. I don't know why they did that, but they released 8 episodes this week, and another 8 episodes are going to be released, I guess, in 6 months or something like that. Yeah. Everyone tells me to watch Yellowstone, and I haven't done it yet. But I think after Ozark, I think I will go on to Yellowstone. I've heard that. So, you like any football teams, Jay Vest? I'm sorry. So I do. I was talking about this earlier today. I like a lot of football teams. The Patriots obviously is my number 1 team because I'm in New England, and I've always followed the Patriots. But I got to tell you, I enjoy watching Kansas City. I enjoy watching So one of the ones I really enjoyed this year was New Orleans, the Saints. I enjoy watching the Saints. I always found their games to be entertaining. Green Bay is a great team. That's why I'm a little bummed out right now because I'm, But again, it's Breaking Bad was my favorite. Breaking Bad. So I will tell you the Breaking Bad story. Quick story. I know I gotta go, but you guys keep asking me great questions. So Breaking Bad, I had never seen it. And they were doing the awards. They were doing the Emmy Awards. They were giving out the Emmy Awards. And Breaking Bad won like 8 Emmy Awards this one year. It was the last season they were on, and they won all the Emmy Awards for the year before. So I said, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I said, I got to watch this Breaking Bad. It won all these Emmy Awards. How come I never watched this show? So I went to bed that night. I watched the first episode of Breaking Bad. No, I am not lying. Look at me. I'm looking you in the eyes. I am not lying. I stayed up all night watching episodes. That whole week, I played hooky from work. I stayed home. I watched all 5 seasons that whole week of Breaking Bad. It was like 60 episodes that whole week. I couldn't get away from it. And then, of course, that was the last season, so I watched the last season live as it came out. And what a great series. What a great series. I could not get away from it that week. That's how I watched Breaking Bad. 1 week. I couldn't get away from it. All right, so yeah, 7 Green Bay's win. That's great. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to go back to watch the game now. But Cardinals were. St. Louis was great. That's what I meant. I started saying that. I enjoy a good football game. I don't care who's playing. If it's a good game, good strategy, good playing, not a lot of penalties, just a good football game, I don't care who's playing. I enjoy it. I will watch it, and I'll stick to it like glue. I always believe let the best team win. The Patriots lost last week. They were not the best team. Obviously, Buffalo was the best team. So that's how I feel. Always, whenever I watch a game, let the best team win. And obviously, the Patriots did play very well this year. And it was disappointing last week. But, boy, they did not play well at all last week. And that's what happened. So, anyway. All right, so I have to go. I appreciate Make Money. Thank you very much for moderating for me. I think that made it smoother. You got rid of all the trolls for us. And everybody, thanks for the great questions. I hope I answered all your questions. And I got some more TikToks going on tomorrow. And, of course, this week I'm going to do a video for the condo and a couple of other properties that we're working on. I have so many projects going on. And I will show you the transition from the auction of the business I won today, the auction, how I'm transitioning it into my business, Butler Waste, how that all takes place. So any questions, anything else, let me know. So thanks again.